Hey, hi, hello, and good afternoon. My name is Amanda, and welcome to Harmony Portal Tarot Live. How is everyone this fine Woo Woo Wednesday? It's also my oldest son, Boston's 15th birthday today. So, hello, and everybody, welcome. Wow, it's been a minute, huh? I think about 2 weeks since I've seen you guys, and that was not a planned extraction, diversion, whatever we want to call whatever that was. um, wow is all I can say about the last few weeks. It was very difficult in some ways. I intended to do a 3-day water fast, but thought, okay, if I can make it 3 days, I'm going to go to 5 days. Well, in the 11th hour of day 4, almost turning over into day 5, my body's like, okay, okay, let's bring in some sustenance now. We're ready. But I made it 94. I can't remember, 94 hours, something like that, which my previous record, not that it's a competition or anything, but just as far as I ever made it in a water fast before was 49 hours, and I had to duck out because I wasn't doing electrolytes. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing back then. But this time I was prepared, I was ready. Actually had a migraine going into the fast and thought, well, I'm just gonna have to dip out. But then I'm like, no, I'm in charge around. I'm the sheriff in town. In charge around here. I'm going to do what I need to do to make this a success because I just out of nowhere thought I'm going to do this. I mean, I'd for years been toying with the fact like let's do 5-day water fast. Like that'd be great. I mean, it'd be brutal but great, right? And since then, I started that fast on Saturday, which would have been the 20th or 21st. Time you guys has been so weird. So weird. Let's see. So the 21st was a Saturday. That was actually my grandma's birthday. My grandma who passed away in 2020. She would have been 96. Holy cow. Wow. Yeah, she passed away at 90. Yeah, she would have been 96 this year. But anyway, yeah, on that we had the sock hop, which I did post a picture of me with the boys at the sock hop on the community tab, just letting you guys know I would be live today. So I ate at the sock hop, really, pizza and chips and just the things that I am just so done with. But addiction. It's just an addiction. I can proudly say that since the following day, Saturday dinner time, I stopped eating. I packed all my electrolytes. I had my lemons for my water and my powdered ginger, just in case I needed it for my headaches. I had my feverfew and some other things just in case I needed it for my headaches. But no food was ingested again until Wednesday evening. And since then, yeah, sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. You're absolutely right. But since then, I've only had very few carbs. And the carbs that I have had, the only carbs I have had are my kombucha and some yellow potatoes. The rest has just been like protein and fat. No, I did have some quinoa last night, and we did quinoa with our avocado and shrimp and that kind of thing. But yes. So very low carb right now. This is not forever, but just to really clean ingredients, clean food. Very boring diet, but like it tastes so good because I just kind of hip checked all of the bad gut bacteria out, at least for the time being. Haven't had any sugar or anything like that wasn't in what I'm doing as far as like the sugars that are in the yellow potatoes or what have you. Yeah, so I'm feeling clarity that I have never felt ever. The downloads that I have been getting just about my own life, my mission here, things that happened in the past, traumas. It's like a fire hose was taken and just like stripped the paint off of everything that has been holding me back, just because I finally had the wherewithal and the willpower to do it. Oh, you've gone on the longest 7 days on a water fast. That is commendable. Oh my gosh. But I am feeling more. It's not that I'm more than I was last time you guys saw me. That's not how I'm interpreting this. It's just that I'm able to embody more of who I truly am on a spiritual level because, again, I've peeled away what's not mine. I've, weather stripped all of, or what's the word? Power washed all and stripped all the paint, not weather stripping, that's something different. Uh, Power washed all the like old chipped paint and stuff that just kind of built onto the surface of my gem of a spirit and your gem of a spirit. We all have this beautiful gem of a spirit that gets piled on, piled on, piled on with all these not selves, false selves, masks that we have to wear, traumas, people telling us who and what we are, people telling us that we are who and what we are isn't good enough, and just all these labels that we start to wear as yet another layer that we put on over what we truly are. And it feels like so many layers were just whisked away just just by stopping eating the matrix garbage. That's just set like a reset button just in that alone. I didn't do anything special. I did not do one meditation. I did not even pick up my deck of cards. It's the first time I picked up my cards since our last live stream just now. And I can't even describe it. I can't even describe it. So it's like I consider this is kind of my new life blueprint, I guess. 2016 was my awakening. 2022 was my rude awakening from the awakening. And 2026 is my reawakening from the awakening and the rude awakening. Is that confusing? Hopefully not. But wow, I'm so much more excited about these very uncertain times that the future is. I mean, you have to be living under a rock to not realize things are changing on this planet. It looks really bad right now out there. If you were to just not know anything about the spiritual stuff and just tune into the news or listen to your neighbors talk or people talk at basketball games, and it's all about war, this, and economy's bad, that, and just all this doom and gloom. But that is just all evidence of this matrix, not the matrix itself so much, but big portions of the matrix that have kept us from finding our own power are lifting. And in effect, as that lifts, we now have more access to our spirit and who we truly are, that we can slough off this matrix noise that has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with us and who we truly are, to where now we can hear these signals even better of our true spirit and just allow that matrix noise to become literal background noise to our life. Maybe it's still there, but it is not dictating who we are and what we're doing. So again, this is really what the Hopi were talking about with we are the ones we've been waiting for, and this whole be in the world but not of it. I thought I understood that before all of this, and now I have an even deeper understanding of being in the world but not of it. You can be in this matrix but not of and conspiring with the matrix, especially when you start vetoing nope, 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 and your no is a complete sentence, even and especially where the matrix is concerned. And that's something I just did not fundamentally understand before all of this. It's like I knew it in my spirit and I knew it deep down, and like logically it made sense. Like if I am this almighty spiritual being that is a part of source, and so are you, and so are you, and so are all of you, then what does this false, puny little matrix have power over me? It doesn't. It just doesn't. And it feels like it does when we don't realize the length and just width and expanse of our actual power. Of course, we feel victimized, and of course, we feel less than this almighty, powerful matrix. But once you start sloughing away the matrix noise, you can actually hear. And it's not to say that we can't hear. We can hear our spirit, but it's more fleeting or snippets or very quiet whispers. But the more you slough off this matrix noise, the louder that voice of who you truly are gets. And it's not that this voice is starting to shout. It's the same volume it's always been. It's just the noise that has been between you and it, or the illusion of the distance between you and who you truly are, your spirit, has quieted down because you have decided in your human aspect with your spirit to turn down the effing volume. I love it. Brianna's just like, period. Yes, we get it. We get it here. And that's what I love about our little niche here in the YouTube community of not all the matrix noise follows us in here. And that's what's beautiful about this. And, even just the, back in the day, and even so recently as, a months ago, thinking, I'm shadow banned. I'll never be able to get my message out there. And now I'm realizing, like, to the fundamental core of who I am, that this shadow ban has actually been a huge, huge gift because it has kept me on my path. Yes, frustration abounds at times, not anymore though. I am beyond grateful and it is what it is the whole thing. But as far as before, I can see why, if the truth that I speak was resonating, because I know my message, I know what I'm bringing to the table into this world is valid and needed. And if everyone out there who needed what I have to offer could find it, that would be great. But at the same time, we're still under this whole cross of planning, incarnation cross that has basically kept, I mean, think of the other, for lack of a better word, sleeping phoenixes, because that's what we're moving into. Think of all the other sleeping phoenixes who rose too early. Kurt Cobain is probably the prime example. He was the voice of a generation, but not on his own terms. He had to do it through the record label, and they even still would edit or audit the message that he tried to get across. And he even at the end of his life or toward the end of his life was like, I'm out. Like, this is not what I signed up for. I don't want to do this. And of course, they couldn't have that. They couldn't have the voice of a generation deciding to exit stage left, and not literally from his life, but from the industry and the matrix, holds that they had on him is what he was looking to exit, not his actual physical incarnation. We'll just put that out there. But yeah. So that's what happens when these phoenixes rise early and the matrix gets a hold of them. And so much of what I've uncovered just in my own family history and things that maybe someday will be its own book, I guess. I don't know, maybe. But the very crazy part of this whole thing is the seeds and storylines of everything that I know personally to be true from my own family history are in my book series already, without me even realizing it until these past few weeks. I'm just like, so I'm literally writing this series to heal myself. And as a way of healing myself, it will also hopefully, fingers crossed, that this book series can get out to people and help, plant the seeds for them to heal themselves. Because my trauma is different from your trauma, different from everybody's trauma. But it's not just me presenting my trauma on a silver platter for everybody. This is me examining the trauma and getting to the root cause of the trauma through these characters, and then like rolling up their sleeves like, okay, now what are we going to do about it? And it's not literally, fists up fighting the matrix. No, not at all. But there's a lot of drama and a lot of crazy going on in the series because that's life, right? You got a Botox out of my channel. This lets you know that we are kind of our own ghost frequency. They don't even know what to try to sell someone who watches this. It's hilarious. But I'm going to catch up on your comments. Hopefully you guys have had a wonderful rest of the whole eclipse corridor that I completely missed out on as far as being live with you guys. But I was in real time just digging through the trauma and just releasing it. It wasn't like these big triggers where I'd spiral and just get caught up in the triggers and the emotions of it all. Like, it just literally sloughed off of me, like, again, like the power wash. Like, I didn't really have to feel it this time. There was one small night that I had some tears going, but it was like a final goodbye to old parts of myself, or just family, just trauma, all the things that one more rodeo every time we do these healing things, and we thought we've dealt with something, and then there it is again. I'm not saying I've completely dealt with it, but I'm assuming that as I write my book series, that will definitely help me process it even more. But hot damn. Let's catch up on comments. We're going to do a collective reading, just not so much specific to the lunar eclipse that happened yesterday that I meant to do a whole special on to kind of wrap up our eclipse season kind of pair of videos. I guess just maybe that wasn't meant to be. And we're just going to do, like, now that everything that's gone down in my life, because I'm also just a mirror of your lives, because in big or small ways, you guys have also had, you've been through the paces, whether you did a water fast, whether you had family trauma stuff come up, whether you're living your best life, whatever's gone on, we really are mirrors of each other, walking each other home. So we will get into that very shortly. I am, though, quickly going to go through comments, and we do have Katie's holdover question from, was it a week ago? I guess it was a week ago. I was supposed to be live a week ago. And then I'm like, hey guys, water fast, getting all these downloads, can't just step away because I'm like integrating, and I don't even know what that was. I've never had anything like all of that. And I'm not going to go into detail because I don't know. You guys, it's like, do we need to know the dirty details or the beautiful details or the in between? Probably not. But it's just more that wasn't me. And I sloughed it off. And I feel more like myself than ever, even though a lot of ways I would maybe relate to the world or labels I'd put on myself felt almost like a pacifier or training wheels to kind of bridge me from that 2026 or 2016 awakening to the 2022 rude awakening to now the 2026 reawakening. And I'm sure this is just yet another layer, and eventually there'll be yet another like I'm here. And that's the beautiful thing, is there is no real true destination in all of this. It's about just enjoying or hating or anything in between the journey of what we're doing here. I'm sure there is a final, destination or whatever. Ooh, that's a bad movie, isn't it? I'm taking it in a more positive way, but yeah, it's really not just about, I mean, it's good to know where we're going, but a lot of times when we're lost in this false matrix, we may have a sense of a general direction and not even really be sure why we need to go in this direction versus this one, but we know in our heart or our spirit we need to go in this direction. And as we start moving in that direction, more of the picture gets illuminated. That's, I guess, the best way I can put all of this into words. So it's not like, oh, I've arrived or you've arrived. Like we're always have more pieces to uncover until we are reunited back with source. I think there's always still more. It's not that we're learning. That's the thing that was made very clear to me, because everything that I uncovered during this transitory period, I don't know what else to call it. It wasn't like I was learning anything new. It was a remembering. And it just all was like, yep. Like there wasn't one thing I learned, not one thing I learned during all of this. It was more of a remembering and a sloughing off or letting go of who I thought I was or who I thought other people in my life were, and just allowing it to quote unquote pass away, without hooking into it and trying to examine it from all angles like maybe me of 5 years ago would have done. And tried to understand it all the way to the depth of my whatever. Like, no. But fun fact, I am actually in the, they call it something. I always forget the technical name. When you are in a major life cycle, which I have been in the Mercury Mahadasha major life cycle since 2010. And you are in Mercury Mahadasha in your lifetime, as long as you aren't born during it or pass away during it, you have 17 years to experience that. Well, 17 years from 2010, February 1st of 2027, which is just less than 2 weeks before we go into the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix, I move into my K2 Mahadasha. And that is the dun, 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 the one everyone fears. Everyone. But why people fear K2 Dasha so heavily is because it cuts off, it amputates everything or anything that is standing in the way of your spirit. If you are already well on your way, or like, please take all the stuff that isn't my spirit away already, it's going to be a golden age for you, personally. I'm still like, okay, brace myself, because I don't know what this is. I've never been in a K2 Mahadasha. I've had K2 Antardashas, or, those other dasha cycles that are kind of cycles within cycles within cycles of each dasha that you're in. But not like K2 completely taking, and K2's headless. It has no head. And to allow a headless ghost of a shadow planet to be driving my life for the 7 years that its dasha entails, for any random person, that would be scary. But for me, I'm like, let's do this. Like, let's just cut the head off and drive with no head. Let's do that. Especially because we've uncovered in our Cosmic Question Corner and just other readings that the matrix really does live in the head or in the mind. If you can cut that off at the pass, you're already halfway there, I think. But for people who are very tied to material output or impressing people or trying to go along to get along or to fit in, K2 Dasha will be another rude awakening for someone like that. Not to say that there probably won't be rude awakenings for me, because I'm still human. I've still been living in this matrix system for almost 44 years. So there will be whiplash and some shock, I'm sure. But at least I feel more prepared than your average bear, I guess. Yeah, let's catch up on comments. I'm just jabbering, yammering, and I don't know. I'm making words up now. All right. Yeah. Sorry, I had to get my dog settled down. We had like the trifecta of like FedEx, UPS, all sorts of stuff going on in the cul-de-sac all at once. I'm like, well, I'm just going to wait till they're done with all that and then we'll get started. All right. Let's get a quick drink of water, catch up on some comments. Yes. Congrats. Nothing like a good reset. Oh, you're telling me. Absolutely. Yeah. Congrats, Marlene. That is quite the accomplishment. 7 days on a water fast. That's awesome. Yeah, the body and mind does feel lighter. Absolutely. Yeah, that trash. I'm so happy for you. Period. You're an alchemist. It's a playground for your magic. Oh, and I have felt so magical. And that's the funny thing. It's not even that it is magic. It's just our birthright. We call it magic in the Matrix because it's so foreign and otherworldly and other to us. But once we start to claim our own alchemist status, it's just another day on the job, you know. It just becomes, I guess, more normal that way than it being magic. But yeah, absolutely, I love that. Yeah, that's why I told you your message is not for a large group, and you are so right. Absolutely. As this whole Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix thing happens, it's estimated, just in my research, you know, these things, we're just speculating because we've never been, oh, did I just see something up here? I thought I did. Who knows? These energies, they're not just going to hard stop, you know, cross the planning, all the corporations and government systems, anything with the word system in it, isn't just going to crash and burn overnight. But we're already feeling and seeing the quaking of a lot of these breakdowns in government, in societies, like supply chains, school systems. Like teachers are quitting like en masse right now because the kids don't want to learn the drivel, or the other half of the kids are like such, I guess, iPad kids that they don't want to do anything except be on their screens. There's kind of even a divide I've noticed just in my kids' friends groups. And it's not to say that my kids never are on a game or a screen. They are, but that's not their whole personality. That's not their whole life. And I made it my motherly mission that no, you will not become iPad kids. Not happening. Not to say though that I don't allow them to play from time to time. They're kids. Of course I do. I just protect them and, you know, all the fun things. But it's the same though with adults. You will see people out there, myself included. I'm always on here looking things up and, you know, ooh, just one more question I have about the Matrix. Let me Google or Yandex this or that. And it's like, since this whole cleansing clearing, it's almost like the internet's not like, oh, I know all the facts, not like that, but the energy behind, if I have a question, it's like I can really tune in. And this is something that I just do automatically, naturally anyway, but it's almost like a lot of that noise that was kind of keeping, like got to really strain to hear the answer is just gone, that the answer is just boom, downloaded. So it's almost like I don't even need the clairvoyance, the clairaudience as much. It's more just that claircognizance, that knowing, without knowing how I know that I know, but I know, is really stepping to the front. Whereas my clairvoyance and clairaudience for most of my life were like kind of front and center for, I guess, my own spiritual gifts. But the claircognizance is taking a very large, distant first place in all of this other stuff. Not to say that I'm not using my other clairs. I absolutely am. But it's more like the clair knowing I get, or that claircognizance I get out of the gate, I'm still like almost denying, like, well, I can't know that. So like, let me go get the proof and the research and the investigation to like prove what the claircognizance was telling me all along. That's kind of where I'm at right now, and kind of really have been since about 2016. But I've just noticed this almost leap with the claircognizance that was noticeable, and has been noticeable since this whole cleanse. And my friend Jessa sent me that this lunar eclipse that we had is the exact opposite sign from where we were in 2016. There was an eclipse that happened the month before my awakening. It was on September 16th, which is one of my brother-in-law's birthdays. That's why I remember the date so well. And then the night of October 15th, going into October 16th is 16th is my husband's birthday. And in 2016, I couldn't even get out of bed. I had so much energy running through me. My whole body was vibrating. I was getting downloads. I was seeing movies play out in my head of, again, the whole thing that happened with Kurt Cobain, family stuff that I had no idea even was a thing. Yeah, just I guess for lack of a better way, like secret sibling, I had no idea about. Just came right into my awareness that night, and I kind of came full circle with that whole secret sibling thing on this past week and a half. Yeah, so crazy, just so crazy. For my whole life, I just felt like this piece of me was amputated. I mean, literally, I did have your third house is your hands. Did get part of my very next youngest sibling would have been 5 months younger than me. And I say would have been, well, he was, and but he passed away when he was 2 years old under very suspicious circumstances. And no, he is not my mother's son. So let's just put that to rest. She had nothing to do with any of this. But my dad, that's a whole other story, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, family crazy dynamics. I don't know. But yes, you will get a very fictionalized version of all of this in my books for sure. Like 2 to 3 times over. It's a 7-book series. Well, 6-book series, and then that 7th book is kind of the companion novel, completely spoiling all the spoilers and the twists and plot points of the series. So you have to read that book last. That's why I named it something completely different. But I did, you guys, I'm so excited. I did come up with all of the names of all 6 of the books of the series. And then I've always known that maybe this series could, I have chills. I knew the series would extend because it's taking place in the 90s. There's a lot of time between what's going on right now and the 90s, that once certain people maybe have their own families, that those would be teenagers about now could then have their own series for what's going on now, to kind of be the mirror effect juxtaposition of what was going on in the 90s before this whole like digital takeover even took over. I have plans, but hear me out. I have to get the first 7 books written first. That the other stuff is like long-term, that would be awesome. But like, let's focus. Let's bring our focus back to the present moment and get these first 7 books written and published and out there. And then let's decide, I have chills. And then let's decide what we're doing with the kind of, what do they call it? Like like Breaking Bad. And then you had Better Call Saul. What's that called? Spin-off series. Yeah. I cannot wait, you guys. I'm so excited about my life right now. It's so good because I haven't felt this in years. Not that my life is bad, not at all, but just that like spirit-led excitement, not just your human ego mind or whatever, kind of chasing the next exciting, concert or, birthday or whatever that we kind of look forward to in the human aspect. But this is very spirit-led, flame under my feet, excited, just ready to go in ways that, I kept thinking, well, if it took me, all these years, I first wrote book 1 in 2018 and then book 2 in 2019, finished it 2023. Took me that long just to write, not even 2 full books, because book 2 isn't even fully written yet. But then I look back at the actual writing time, not all the like hemming and hawing and researching and marinating my ideas, but the actual writing time. I wrote all of book 1. I wrote at least 50, I think it was 51 some thousand words of the almost 92,000 words it is in November of 2018. And then I finished it in January of 2019. So in 2 months, I wrote a book. And then kind of very similar vibe with book 2, but I had to go back and re-outline book 2 because it was going to be a trilogy at the time I wrote book 2. And I'm like, holy crap, there's so much more I need to say. So now the book two I was writing is now, well, parts of book two are now even as far out as book three and part of book five because we kind of take a weird detour. You'll understand when you read it if you want to. Book four is kind of the outlier book, but it ties it all together because it's kind of the roots of the story, if that makes sense. Hopefully it'll make sense eventually someday. Let me just keep I could talk about my books all day, so like cut me off. Let's keep going. Yes. So playground for my magic. I love that. Yes. Man, oh man, I'm so happy for you. This is when you learn how to use that wand. Absolutely. Bravo. Yes. Yes. We're following Brianna's lead because she's already been this cross of the sleeping phoenix her whole life. So you're leading the way for all of us. And I love that so much because sometimes I feel lost out here and then I like tune back into spirit. I'm like, no, I got this. We all got this. And that's the thing is there's so many of us incarnated at this time that have different gifts and different ways of showing up for this new world that's technically more the old world that we're recreating or not that we're recreating it. We're just, again, sloughing off that matrix static to get back to the original. So it's not like we're ascending to some 5D, whatever. It's really, instead, we're uncovering the original 3D blueprint, untainted 3D blueprint of not only the earth, but of our actual own body's DNA. We're getting that back online into this cross of the sleeping phoenix. Oh yeah, that was one thing I was kind of going on that tangent and then I went on another tangent. It's going to take your average person who's just, going to work, paying their bills, doing their thing. It's going to take them between 3 and 7 years to even realize someone pulled the plug of the cross of planning. Those of us who are awake and have been awake for a minute, even just a little bit awake, will notice instantly and we'll start moving accordingly. Brianna, others of you that are already like, your mission, but it's just the cross of planning has kind of been holding you in this kind of almost stasis or holding pattern. Like me, if I were to have published, my books, back when I first wrote them, 2018, 2019, 2020, they would have been held back, suppressed. I could have maybe been in physical danger for my life because the things I was talking about in these books, not okay under the cross of planning. And you notice that's the stickler here. You notice there are a lot of people out there right now, and even before now, that are speaking truth, and they have hundreds, if not thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers. And you scratch your head and wonder, if they're saying very similar things to what I'm saying, why are they allowed to have a platform, but I am just silenced? And then you read into what they're actually saying. There's a lot of static and a lot of matrix noise within what they're saying. Yes, there are gems of truth buried in it. That's why it resonates. But if you can listen beyond the words and, their hand movements and their blinking and their whatever, and just really listen to almost what's going on between the words or within the words, if you're intuitive at all, you can pick it up that there's a lie within here. Or as I think Tony Sayers back in the day, he's like, there's a turd in the punch bowl. It's like all the punch is great, but there's a turd floating in it. So it's like, what's the catch? But once that cross of Sleeping Phoenix unplugs on February 14th, so, February 15th, 2027 on, we're going to be in the cross of the Sleeping Phoenix. Cross of planning is unplugged. It's going to take a lot of people to get the memo that something's been unplugged and something new is kind of operating as that background frequency. And speaking of background frequency, you have the cross of the Sleeping Phoenix, which is kind of the main operating or the main energy. And then you have we have the incarnation cross of planning as the main one now, and since 1615. And then there's that underlying one. I always forget the name of it. Let me look it up. I'm sure I'm going somewhere with this, and then we're gonna get back to comments, and then we're gonna get our stuff going here. I feel like I've missed out. I want to catch up with you guys. What is the other incarnation cross with the cross of planning? And I always forget the name of that underlying energy. So let me Apparently my phone's choosing right now to lock up completely. It's a new phone. Why? Shouldn't be. Okay. I guess I'll exit that out and try again on a different tab. Okay, whatever. Okay, so what is the other incarnation cross with the cross of planning currently? I always forget the name of it. Hopefully it'll tell me. Okay. I don't want to sign in. Just let me continue. Okay. No, I said let me continue. Okay. Um so cross of planning. Okay, it's just giving me the cross of planning. Okay, go. I apologize, you guys. Okay. What other cross is operating now? I always forget the name of it. um so cross of planning and then okay, it's not gonna because I don't know the name what to ask. It's I'm not understanding what I'm trying to ask is what's going on. But the emerging global cycle is, of course, the cross of the sleeping phoenix. We're gonna do a whole deep dive on cross of the sleeping phoenix and cross of penetration, which is the kind of underlying. So what is the cross of penetration? That sounds so gross. In the new era. Maybe it'll give me the name I'm searching for that other kind of underlying energy. Yeah, secondary frequencies, that's what they call it. Cross of penetration is not the main title of the new era, but it is one of the key secondary frequencies known as the lock or the supporting cycle that will operate alongside the primary theme. So starting in 2027, the world transitions from the cross of the sleeping into the cross of the sleeping phoenix, the key cycle, but it is supported by the cross of penetration as part of the overall background frequency. And wouldn't you just know? Wouldn't you just know that I have every single gate of the 4 gates of the cross of penetration? I have 1 gate of the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which is my 34. My 34 doesn't connect up to the 20 like the cross of the sleeping phoenix. My 34 goes over to connect to the gate of intuition, which is 57. So I kind of divert that over. The cross or the gate 20 is all about being in the present moment. So the underlying energy of being busy, always past projecting or future projecting our energy is gonna start to quiet the hell down. And we're gonna be able to actually embody the present moment in ways we have never known since 1615 on this planet. I have chills, as a background frequency for all of us. But yes, so the gate of, I'm sorry, the gates that are associated with the cross of penetration, I have all 4 of those gates, and so I'm already built for this era, just as Brianna with her Sleeping Phoenix gates, she has all 4 of those 4 gates. She's built for this world, for this new world. The underlying energy of how I've been trying to do business and how I've been trying to operate has been the cross of penetration, which isn't online yet. So I'm just hitting a wall, hitting a wall, hitting a wall until 2017. Well, probably around then is when the wall I kind of got through a little bit because these energies don't just hard stop. Remember, they're overlapping. So we're already kind of feeling the vibe. And that's why Brianna's called to do what she's doing. And each of you are being called at this time to do what you're doing, especially if you're here right now. I can almost guarantee of these new 8 gates that are taking over these old 8 gates, you have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, many of them potentially. So you can do your own research if you want to and just run your tropical chart. That's what this is all based on. And because tropical is very much matrix control, whatever, it works perfectly. When you're looking to examine the matrix, use tropical astrology. It'll tell you everything you need to know about the matrix. So will sidereal astrology, but just in a different way. Yeah, it's like you're a prisoner. You're actually the warden of the prison, pretending to be a prisoner inside the prison when you use your tropical astrology to try to figure out like what am I doing in this matrix? Like what does this matrix have signed up for me or what have you? Pretty cool. Anyway, let's get back to your comments. Yes. Let's see. Bearsha's here. Welcome. I got to catch up on all these comments real quick. Botox ad, gotta love it. No, this is alchemy. Yeah, I'm feeling it in my body and purging so many old parts of me, emotion shadow. Hope this is the last of it, please. The weird feeling that I got during this most recent, it was definitely not even close to my most brutal of purges and whatever. There wasn't even a dark night of the soul associated with this one. It was more of a I'm floating here and I just went up to here. Like it there was really no dark, deep density associated with this most recent jump for me personally. But that doesn't mean that, Versha is invalid because she's, digging even further down. That doesn't make her, her wrong or me wrong, or we're just doing different things at different times, catered to what our spirit is deeming, okay, this can go now. Okay, this can go now. But who's to say my next little jump won't be like a big down back to the bottom, or what I deem as rock bottom again, dark night of the soul. Like who knows? Who knows? But yeah. Yeah, we just worked on another layer of awakening with Carrie in her private group last month. Oh, I am all for it. Be back soon. Good luck, Jessa. Yeah, I tried the 3-day, but the density came up fast and I had to break at 49 hours. Isn't that interesting? Because that 49-hour mark is when I had to break my very first ever water fast. I made it that far, which is, I guess, kind of impressive for my very first time even fasting back in 2021 or 2020. I think it was 2021. Yeah, it was definitely before Judy died. So 2021, my dog Judy. Yeah, that's still very beneficial because you've allowed your body time to rest and start to, clean up, the cleanup crew to come on in and do some things. Yeah, you are on fire with your creative energy, putting these books out there. I'm so excited. And Versha's actually read my first book. I mean, the last half of it's still in the third draft, and I have some minor changes and some little foreshadowing things I want to kind of plug in. But other than that, it's mostly what it's going to end up being is what you read, Versha. Just some prettying up of everything and some cleaning up of some repetitive loops that I got into a little bit at the end there. But yeah, you've pretty much read what it's going to be. I'd say 95% of what you read will stay exactly as it is. No big major theme changes or plot twists that you have not seen, Versha. Yeah, watch how much fast are you right now? That's exactly, so many just dark question marks, dark tunnels of what happens between this and this in book 3, book 4, book 5, book 6 have been filled in just because I quieted the static of the matrix long enough to hear what needs to be done. So I know what needs to happen and I have notes for myself. I just need to then put them more into, fictional writing form rather than Amanda telling herself the story in bullet point form, if that makes sense. Yeah, it'll be, and especially once that K2 Mahadasha clicks in, it won't be me having to think. It will be me literally channeling from the galactic center where my Lilith and my Neptune sit in my third house. My K2 is exactly conjunct in the third house. Lyra, the star Vega, which is like starseed stuff, my home planet, the first place I ever incarnated, Lyra. And they are the architects. They are, they use sound and vibration and their voices to make a difference. So I'm doing what I need to be doing. And it falls in my third house of writing and communication. So I'm right on time. But K2 will cut the head off of anything that is not. That's why I struggled. Not that I didn't fit in high school or before or after, but I struggled. It was work for me to try to not pretend I was someone different per se, but just to pretend that I also mattered and should fit in here, even though I'm a square peg in that round hole of society. I tricked a lot of people, not because I was being ingenuous, but because I found, I guess, the ways to relate to people that I could show them my true spirit, my true heart, and them not reject me because I'm a weirdo or a whatever. But I am a weirdo. Like at heart, I am a weirdo. And I used to hate that about myself, but now I absolutely love that about myself. And not in that conceited way. It's just a very much I love from my own spirit, my spirit. You know what I mean? We all hopefully someday can get there. And I have a lot of work to do in the whole self-esteem and being self-critical department. Believe me, I'm not some perfect actualized person out here thinking I'm whatever. Not at all. Yeah. Yes, I'm excited to read the next one. Yeah, I had to burn at the stake, Amanda. Trust me, I overstand you. I just knew I was different and my passions were meant to shift a specific group of people. I don't care about the world. It's about, and that's what I am too, about that 5%. Those people, oh, my husband's calling. Those people that have already woken up, and then the people who will wake up during this Cross the Sleeping Phoenix transition. Let's just be honest, not everyone is going to wake up. Hey, I'm live. What do you need? Yeah. All right, bye. Oh, I forgot. Will you call me back when you're done? Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. And once I, just during this whole, I don't even know what this whole clarity thing was that I just went through, but realizing that maybe 15% of the people on this planet even have that true source spirit still connected. It's not to say that that others weren't born with it. They were, but it exited stage left when it realized they're never waking up. A lot of them. But you need that spark of spirit to even create the biology of a body. So it has to be there in some capacity to get things started. But it's either highly suppressed or exit stage left at some point when it realizes, oh, I'm not overcoming this illusion of the matrix here. Yeah. And then that leaves it almost like this empty cedar or empty vessel for the matrix to use as a puppet. And just because the Matrix is using certain people as puppets doesn't mean they're outrightly evil or bad. They may be, a teacher in your community. They're a good person. They donate to charity. They do, all the things that go along to get along stuff. And they seem like a good person, but there's part of you that just kind of can't connect to them even deeper than the surface because there's nothing there to connect to, even though they're kind of playing their role in society of, I'm the churchgoer and I donate to charity and, I'm nice but there's just no real spark behind that person's eyes. Just because they're quote unquote considered a matrix drone or whatever. I mean, it just sounds so derogatory. I don't want it to come out like, oh, we're the chosen ones. That's not how I'm trying to approach this. So hopefully you don't take it that way. But us true spirits can sense when someone else has a true spirit. And if you feel like, well, I don't know if they have a true spirit or not, if you're not like, there are those people you will meet in your life, even if you just cross paths with them that one day, that you just feel so drawn, so connected to that person. And you can't understand why, or you can't explain why. Most likely because they have a true spirit just like you do. And that doesn't mean that every true spirit you come across, you have to like collect them like all the Pokemon cards and keep them in your life. That's not how that works. Sometimes we have contracts with these people to cross paths for a moment, a day, a week, a month, a year, 10 years, 20 years, and then maybe we go on our merry way. And then others, they're in our life. Once they get in our life, they stay in our life. And just because, you and another true spirit don't stay in each other's lives means someone did something wrong or whatever. No, you just have missions that are kind of maybe going two different directions. Yeah. I mean, we could just talk about all the things today, I swear. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Brianna's been through that fire. Absolutely. Yeah. They are traveling preachers. I love it. Oops, my chat just jumped. Yeah. When you fast, those people sound like they don't have a spirit. You will begin to get quieter in the mouth and you will write more than you ever have. It will be hidden in plain. Yeah. It must be hidden in plain sight. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm already feeling that, but I can feel that I barely know nothing about what this K2 Mahadasha is going to bring for me. This Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix background energy shift is going to bring for me and others. I am so here for it. But, there's no coincidence that, I started my life in the Jupiter Mahadasha, Purnavasu moon. It starts wherever your moon sign is. If you can find your moon nakshatra, Purnavasu is my moon nakshatra. It's ruled by Jupiter. So you will start your life in the Jupiter Mahadasha. It may not be day one of the Jupiter Mahadasha. Maybe you're coming in a few years in. Like I spent 8 years and 9 months of my first months and years of life in Jupiter. Then I switched to Saturn, which is like over 20 years or 20 years. So Saturn was kind of my dasha for like age 9 through 27, 28 years old. And weirdly, I was kind of in Saturn Dasha as I was going through my Saturn return to pass me into my Mercury Mahadasha, which was the last 16 years. So it would be 17 total. And then I'll go into the K2 Mahadasha. Um, but there's no coincidence in my mind to spend 8 years in one, 20 years in another, 17 years in another, and just mere days before the cross of the sleeping phoenix, I go into the planet that basically represents the cross of the sleeping phoenix as my Mahadasha. There's no coincidence in that. I designed this before I came in to be ready and to be completely headless moving into this cross of the sleeping phoenix. And I'm so here for it. I'm so here for it. Yes. Yeah, 24-hour fast every day now, eating one meal and then water fast for the rest of the 24 hours. I'd say one caveat to that, Versha, just time to your cycle. Your first 10 or so days of your cycle, the first day you bleed is cycle day 1. You can fast to your heart's content those days, days 11, 12, 13. Kind of take it easy, basically leading up to whenever you would ovulate, kind of take it easy. Maybe less time between. You still do like intermittent fasting, but maybe closer to 13 or 15 hours between meals, so you don't bottom out your hormones and lose hair and all the things that can happen if you these women that try to fast like men, like, oh, I'll just do OMAD, one meal a day every day for life. And men can do that. Women cannot, because we have hormonal cycles. So just if you look up Mindy Pelz, Pelz here on YouTube, she tells you how to fast like a girl. Even if you're menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, way before menopause, she's got you covered. Yeah. She even has a new book out called Age Like a Girl that I got for Christmas that I still haven't read, but yeah, she's got her finger on the pulse of something beyond what we've been told. So I can appreciate the information she gives. Yeah, same here. I struggled with school, college, families. Now it has reached next level. Now that happening with Kashfi. Yeah, well, learning Kashfi as a reflector in human design, that is a rare breed right there. She literally reflects everybody's crap back to them, and that's why she triggers so many people. Probably you included, Bersha. She puts a mirror right up to her face. So anytime someone's talking to Kashfi, they're just seeing themselves or what they're projecting of themselves, trying to project it onto her. And not projector as in projector in human design, but people project themselves onto others. It's just what we do to relate to people. Like when you're in love with someone, that's not you literally being in love with them. That's you being in love with yourself projected onto someone else. It's kind of crazy when you really look into it. Yeah. Welcome to my reality right now, living with such a being. Sometimes I feel sad, not even sorry for how lost he is, living in a small, lost child, covered and tormented by entities and matrix control. And that's a valid feeling. But I won't say I lost years, but because I think we learn. We live and we learn. But I have spent so many years feeling sorry or trying to awaken or, empathizing beyond my empathic capacity for people who just will never get it. And that doesn't mean they don't deserve my empathy. They do. But me wasting my precious life force on people who it's always going to be a no is a waste of my precious life source. So as Brianna's saying, I'm not meant for that 95%. I'm meant for that 5% who's ready to lock in and load. Most of us are. And when we try to get through to those 95%, they're just not ever going to hear it. But good news is that 5% will go up to about 15%. I know there's still 85% noise out there with a lot of the people, but at least that number over the next 7, 8 or so years is going to triple. And thank goodness, because I want more people we can relate to. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, this is about a mission. No need to apologize. Most people subscribe to a religion and it breaks their will. Exactly. Yeah, they start to believe in a God outside of themselves. You're so right. And I even went that route in high school, like trying to find God, trying to I went to I think every church in town except the Mormon church because it scared me. The Mormons scared me. And then come to find out, years later in my 30s, I learned that my mom's dad's dad, only 4 generations back from my mom, and his mother, Sarah Sturdivant Levitt, was what they were like some of the founding first kind of congregation of this whole thing. And I'm like, ew, why? Why do I have to have some origins on one side of my family right there? Nothing against Mormons personally, but the whole concept is just so give your power to everyone and everything outside of you and not yourself. No thanks. But I kept rebelling against every church. I not like rebelling, like, F you, I'm out. Like, but just like, ooh, not for me. It's weird because 2 days before my 17th birthday, yeah, 2 days before, or 2 weeks, 2 weeks. It was April 14th of 98. 2 weeks before my 17th birthday, I got baptized. And within 2 weeks of me getting baptized, I'm like, yeah, this church thing just ain't for me anymore. And I didn't go back ever again. I mean, not ever again. I mean, I went a handful of times, like with my husband's family for like Christmas Eve, whatever, but it just felt so just disingenuous, you know? Ugh, yuck. Been there, done that. I tried to fit that square peg, round hole scenario to try to find the light that was already within me the whole time. Oh, isn't that just the true hero's journey? You go on this big journey to find what was already within you. Like that's almost all stories out there are built on that premise. And for good reason, because it's true. You know? Oh, isn't it great? Yeah. Yeah, this is about a mission. Yeah, I read that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I cannot believe we had the same incarnation cross. Do you offer Vedic? Yes, I do, Brianna. Absolutely. I haven't done one in a hot minute as far as like for other people, but that's pretty much all I've been doing for my family members during this kind of thing. Well, downloads, but I did my brother's birth chart, my husband's, both my kids, my mom, my sister, my other secret brother. I did everybody's birth charts. Like I've just been birth charting it up, looking into all my different divisional birth charts and just trying to get to the polished gem within, and the best chart to know your past life and your actual mission here, not just past life, but like a blueprint of the amalgamation of your past lives is your D60 chart in your Vedic charts. And you can find these over on Astro. It's let's see. If you go horoscopes.astro-seek, not astro-seek because it takes you to like a astrology like dating site or something, astro-seek. And then you want to go to sidereal. So under astro-seek on the left, if you're on your computer, on the left top hand side, right below astro-seek, their logo there, it says free horoscopes. And then you go down, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 10 or 11 list down the list is sidereal astrology calculator. And then you can put in your birth details and it'll give you the and you want to use whole sign so it doesn't overlap signs and houses. You know, that can get confusing. I say yes when you understand the basic basis of what's going on, then you can look into, you know, the true size of the constellations and everything, because this is going to tell you what the matrix has you signed up for. You don't even need to go beyond this. So do the sidereal, and then use the whole sign for the house system, use whole sign. And then for the Ayanamsha, use Lahiri. When we're doing true sidereal astrology and all that, you would instead use the Ayanamsha of Fagan Bradley. But just to get your foot in the door, just to understand what you're doing in the matrix, this is perfect. Let me just take a screenshot of this. This is what I have mine set at here. Okay, and then I'll go back to my video view. Photos. I need to someday figure out, like, how do I screen share? How do I do this? Like, that would make these live streams so much more seamless and fun, I think. But until then, we'll just deal with my screenshot madness. Yeah, right here. You can see these whole sign and all that. You don't really have to even worry about orbs or anything like that, and just basic to get your basics down. And then, you know, you can look at your chart. You know, you'll have a wheel chart, And house 1 will always start kind of on the mid left side for you, that's right. So, like, the mid left side is your first house, and each house will be labeled 1, 2, whatever, and then on the outside, it'll tell you what astrological sign, but then along the side there, it'll break it all down, like, okay, you have Jupiter in the first house at 11 degrees in Swati Nakshatra, Pada 2. It breaks it down. And if you don't know what all that means, you can always book a astrology reading with me. But I do like, if you're going to book an astrology, your Vedic chart reading. I kind of want to know what it is you're looking for, because that's like saying, hey, tell me who I am. Well, this is going to take 5 lifetimes for me to tell you who you are, but like break it down, like 3 main things you want to know from this birth chart. And in fact, I prefer if we could do it like on Zoom or something where we could just interact together. And if you had questions along the way, we can dive into it live right then. Because there's so much this can tell you that I wouldn't even know where to start for you unless you just trust me to pull out what you need to know, kind of like I do in the general readings. Then of course I could do that, but just trying to get to the root of what it is you want to know, like what's my career, what's my whatever. What I've been looking into my chart for is like, why am I here? What is my purpose on this planet? What are my gifts? What are my talents? What are my downfalls? What are my like weaknesses? That's just as important as knowing your strengths, because that's how the matrix hooks into you to begin with. Your gifts are whatever to them. It's your weaknesses that they are salivating over, because that's how they can hook in, you know? Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, your spirit has no head. And that's exactly right. And it's funny because in Vedic astrology, they demonized the Rahu Ketu. It was like a serpent or a dragon or whatever, and then they beheaded it to make it always be searching for its other half. Well, I like to say that your Rahu Ketu axis in your birth chart, in your D1, which is your regular birth chart, and then in that D60 chart, also your D24, which is kind of like your spiritual gifts or your knowledge, what you're here to learn, what you already know, what you bring to the table before you even incarnate, or as in this incarnation, is in your D24 chart. I mean, you could just be digging for months to years, learning who you are, just digging through all these divisional charts. Yeah, but a reading with me can definitely give you a taste of what you're here to do and what you're here to learn. And not that we're learning. That's a misnomer. We're not learning shit here. Let's just be honest. We're remembering. Anything you think you have learned, no, you're just remembering it, because we all came in with amnesia. The wrong kind of headless. Because the headless we're talking about with K2 is you don't need all this matrix stuff to tell you who you are or to hook into your ego in any way, because you already know that from which you come when you tune into your K2, because it's your past. It's where you originate from, which is source. Hello. But then they demonize it here, even in astrology circles. Oh, you can't just go to your K2. You need to go to your Rahu. K2, you've already been there, done that. Well, yeah, but part of me been there, do that is why I'm here, because I know I'm from source and have had all these other crazy incarnations doing all these things. And I kind of want to know that information so that when I am going toward my North Star, my North Node, I know what the F I'm doing. Hello. But no, they just want you headless and blind going toward the North Node with like no brake pedal, just in case something hits the fan. I have a built-in gas and brake pedal in the same house with my Mars and Saturn in the 12th house, just hidden away up there in Virgo, having a good time. Revving my engine, going nowhere in the matrix. But once I'm able to really access that, it's going to be full steam ahead. Yes, it is. Jessa's back. I hope things went well for you. Oh, you got an EMF blocker hat that you recommended. OMG. Isn't it a game changer for your dream space? It's such cleaner. And it's like, you can actually understand why you're doing what you're doing in your dreams, because this is your actual subconscious, and not the matrix program subconscious, but like your spirit, like your past from your spirit trying to speak to you, even if it is something quote unquote more negative or whatever. It's speaking to you directly for ways to overcome these triggers that the matrix uses to entrap you, ensnare you, or hook you back into whatever drama they're producing on a Tuesday, Oh, you definitely know what 3 sections you wanna focus on. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, we've hit the end of our, comments, and I could just soapbox all day. So let's get into a reading. Let's just see. I have chills already. Yay, yay, yay. What do we need to know? Those of us watching on now and on the replay, just with these huge shifts that have gone on, I've been feeling, again, with this kind of overlap with Across the Sleeping Phoenix, we're already tuning into it. Brianna's been doing it her whole life, but others of us that, I only have one gate of the Sleeping Phoenix, but I have all 4 gates of the Incarnation Cross of the underlying energy of the Cross of Penetration. So like I'm feeling like my motor's not just sitting there, one foot on the gas, one foot on the brake, but it's like someone let their foot off the brake and I'm able to move a little bit now in ways I've never been able to, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally speaking. It's happening now because I'm at the precipice of leaving behind this old Mercury Mahadasha, going into K2 Mahadasha, leaving the Cross of Planning, going into Cross of Sleeping Phoenix. It's all crashing down around me now and into the near future, and I am here for it. But let's see how we're all here for it. Whew. I'm so happy for you. I mean, I was just I'm like, not like jealous or envious, but like, just like, oh, I love that for Brianna, and I want that for me at the same time. I didn't look at it as, well, Brianna has it, so I can't have it. I always would look at things like, someone attained a level I wanted or, got something I wanted in the past. I never looked at them jealous or envious, like, oh man, I wish I could have what you have. It's more of, wow, you did that. That means I can do that too. Like, to me, it's kind of a weird thing. Like this whole envy and jealousy of, like, oh, well, aren't you jealous when your husband talks to, the people he works with that are women? I'm like, why would I be? Like, I'm very secure in knowing what we mean to each other. Why, like, the whole, like, jealous boyfriend, jealous girlfriend, jealous husband, jealous wife, jealous of your neighbor who got a promotion, like, that just never, like, I could maybe want the feeling that they had, but I weirdly enough, I would never want someone else's life. Like, I like the life I have, and I know it's more like I know the potential I have in my life that I'm more like, I don't wanna give that up. Maybe the life I'm living right now isn't where I want it to be in, like, as far as my home organization or, living in the house that I wanna live in or, having my books already published and all the things, but I know that those potentials are not just on the horizon as a maybe, but they're guaranteed if I get my crap together and get going on it? Same here for me. It's like I'm already ready. Already, spirit. Can we do it now? Yes. We're already ready, spirit. But it's this stupid cross of planning that's just been like that foot on the gas, or the brake of our foot on the gas for a hot minute now. But you're gonna just break away in ways that you can't even fathom right now, Brianna. Like we all are. We all are, because when they can turn off this background noise of the cross of planning matrix hum that we've all had to like strain to hear the truth through, it's going to be much easier. It's just going to be instant downloads. We're going to be able to regenerate our bodies and heal because that noise, frequency wise, can no longer reach us true spirits. For those who choose the matrix and want to be in the smart city, technocracy, whatever that thing looks like in the future, they can have at it, because they can't survive without it. A lot of them, because their spirits have up and left the building. So if they don't want to die, go down with the ship, they're going to have to join the ship in the smart cities, technocracy, upload their consciousnesses to the metaverse, whatever that looks like. But that is not my future. That is not my reality. Yeah, it's so hard because so few people speak my language as it relates to career path. I am so excited for your book. Yeah, I get it so freaking much. I just knew my weird was correct. Absolutely. And then when you find your weird, maybe not exact duplicate of yours, because there are no exact duplicates out there. That's just impossible because we're all our own individual, unique expression of source while we're here. But when you find someone who gets it on your level, but maybe just in a different way, and they're doing their own thing and you're doing your own thing, it's like, oh, I have chills. It's like we're all pieces, we all have our own individual part in the symphony. If one person was just playing this really gorgeous melody, that's great. That's amazing. But then someone else joins in and it's like harmonies. And I just have chills this whole time. It's like a beautiful harmony. And then a third part comes in, a fourth, a fifth. And before you know it, you have this beautiful symphony. But right now, what we have is we're all playing our part as this beautiful symphony. But then you have that other 85% other that's like just offbeat, just banging on the wall. Maybe they're playing their violin or whatever, but it's like, and the symphony's still there. And we can still hear it, but it's through all the sludge and the noise and the dross of just BS, false signals. But as that unplugs here in the next year, that's going to go radio silent for a lot of us. We may still hear the echoes, when you like if you beat one of those Wrigley has it in here somewhere. He has one of those tongue drums. Like you hit it, it's like a metal drum. You hit it and then it kind of reverberates and gets quieter, quieter, quieter. You don't just hit it and it just stops right away. You hit it and then it's like and it slowly fades out. That's what this is like. But we're already starting to hear the noise turn down on all that sludge to where we can start to hear this beautiful symphony we've been creating, and we'll continue to get even more stellar at creating as that noise dies away, and we can just literally get to work for the first time in, for me, 44 years. It's like, yeah, we've been working, but it's like walking through mud, like knee to waist deep mud we've been walking through. And if they remove all the mud, we can start to sprint toward our purpose in ways we never have been able to in this life. Speaking of, I did pull cards as we were talking. Like, what do we need to know? Pretty much everything I was just talking about, and I didn't even realize I was holding these 2 cards. This is about us coming together to form that symphony. But, that doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out right now or before this plug gets unplugged or even 3 years, 4 years, 10 years after, because this cycle, this will last us the next 400 and some years. There's no rush. That's what I want to hit home for you guys. Especially after February of 2027, we won't feel this rush to get somewhere anymore. We won't. That will turn off. That will die away. That is matrix noise telling you you're too late. You're never going to make it. No one's ever going to find you if you're already 3 years past where you wanted to be before you publish your books or start your business or da-da-da-da-da-da. We were purposely suppressed not only by the matrix, but by our own spirits a lot of the time to keep us safe, to keep us protected. It's like, your mission, but wait, not yet. You can get it all planned out and, fix the tweaks and twerks of it and all that fun stuff. And maybe you find that little bit of couple of clients or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. But wait, you can't just shout it from the rooftops and go quite mainstream. Not that we'll ever be mainstream. Let's put that out there. But the frequency of the services we want to provide, the books we want to write, the songs we want to sing, those of us who are turned on now and will continue to be, we won't even need to market ourselves in this new energy. We will be like this beacon or this lighthouse I used to always talk about on my pick of cards. They will see us from miles away. All we have to do is stand there and freaking shine our light and offer our services or publish our books. And those that need those services, those books, those songs, those whatever, will find us. We don't have to go out and find them. That is the way of the cross of planning. You want to market yourself, you need to go find those clients. You need to advertise. You need to get yourself out there. And that works for now. But in the new energy, think of it as our true connection to each other is like the original internet. They copied the original internet of, true source to create this thing we call internet. But when that matrix noise passes on, we will have our matrix, or not our matrix, our true divine blueprint internet, where we can connect back to all the true spirits that are incarnated here or even beyond as we tune back into that frequency. We won't need the physical internet anymore because it's a copy of something we already are and have and just are, Yeah, our cups will be running the F over. Yes, mic drop. Yeah, it's so hard because very few people speak my language. Yes, we already talked about that. But this coming together, we're finding each other. And it doesn't mean we have to find each other before they pull the plug. No, we're already this is pretty much for us in this whole thing, the worst it's going to get as far as feeling alone, as far as feeling othered or weird. We're in the thick of the worst it's ever going to be again right now. And for many of us right now, that peak of feeling so othered or lost or lonely is in the past for us, a lot of us, back in the day, because we've tuned in. We know we're not alone. We know there's others out there like us. We know that, we have a true spirit and this is not our home. We know that. Um, but the chaos, the absolute chaos of what's to come as these systems break down, I was built for that too. Uh, Pretty much my whole spleen in my which is your survival, is lit up in my human design. I'll just show you guys a picture, a picture of my chart, just so you guys can see what I got going on here. And then you can screenshot it and go like investigate who I am if you want to. I don't care. I don't care. That's the spleen. Oops. Let me go back. Okay. That's the spleen. Look at all that. It's lit up like a Christmas tree. Most of these are about intuitive hearing, survival, being able to, you know, ride the waves of this transition is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to find words. Words are hard. But yeah, that's what I got going on. If anyone wants to look it up, if you care to. But this is the victory. Us coming together, working together, each singing our own special song or playing our own special part in that symphony. You don't even have to be a good singer. Maybe you're really great at healing. Maybe you're really great at mandala art. Maybe you're really great at writing or whatever, whatever your case may be. You will find what makes you unique. And that is your currency in this new world, is your uniqueness, your authenticity. Because when you are producing something from joy, because that's the thing, we're not just here to sit around like bumps on a log. We're here to act and react, but not react, it's more of a response. But we've been in reactivity mode. We're switching from react to respond. And that's one of the great things about human design, is you can learn how you respond to, like my strategy is to respond. Someone who's a projector, their strategy would be to get that invitation. So if someone like my husband, who's a projector, would be trying to give someone advice without them asking for it, it would be seen as like a threat, or like I don't want your advice. But if someone's like, hey, Ryan, what do you think about blah, blah, blah? They're inviting him into the conversation or into the whatever. And then when he gives that advice, it's very authoritative, because the projectors, it's a recent addition as far as all this goes. I think it was 17 something or 18 something. Projectors started being born on the planet. It wasn't a thing before then. But they are basically the guides of this new world, this new energy. Someone like me, to respond, I don't have to sit around. I'm a generator. I don't have to sit around and wait for someone to invite me to talk or to do something or whatever. I can, maybe see an advertisement for something and I can respond instantly. Or That's my like built-in. Oh, you're Ryan as a projector too. You hit the nail on the head. Oh my gosh, isn't it crazy? So it's almost like they need that initiation into the crowd or into the project or into the conversation. And when they just kind of barrel in there and give their 2 cents, people are just like, oh, I'm offended. And I feel bad for him, because that's kind of the mode of operation he's been in his family a lot of times growing up. Now that he, I think, understands that, it's better received. Like, he understands it's not that he's not valid or has valid information and advice. In fact, I'd say he's the very sane one among them. Not to say they're insane, but he's very much the voice of reason among most of his family members. But they just don't have the ears to listen unless they invite him into getting that advice, if that makes sense. But yeah, me as the generator, I have all this energy, but that's the thing. If it's something that feels like a chore or a duty or something that my heart's just not in, it drains me like crazy. And I feel lethargic and I feel like I'm finding ways to enjoy what, like with the things with my kids, like they're just going to all their activities, all their sports. I enjoy watching them do what they do. And I love being able to do what they do. It was just having to deal with all the different parents and them coming up to me and the weather. And like, I would draw these people like a moth to a flame, and they'd want to talk my ear off about things, gossip and things I have no care or concern to talk about. since I have kind of had my shift in perspective, these people are like, won't touch me with a 10-foot pole, and I am here for it. But yet, there are those very few that I've already like handpicked, energetically speaking, that I'm like, I vibe with you, that just still keep on coming over, and it's perfect. But these other people just, they keep their distance now in ways that they did not before. And I am so happy about that, because I can just be in the moment at my kids' sport games without having to hear about someone's brother's controversy at their work that I don't even know these people. I don't care. But like, I'm nice, I'm polite. So, oh yeah, you're right. I can't do the small talk anymore. And it's been difficult since 2016, when, and that's the year that Boston, well, he started, 2016 is the year he started kindergarten. Year of my awakening. It's been difficult, but it has become exponentially more difficult the closer I get to my K2 Mahadasha, to even pretend to care to entertain these people with things that I am not lit up about. Or that I can sense they are, and it's not even that I have to be lit up about it. If they're lit up about something and they come to me, oh yeah, let's talk about it. Even if I know nothing about golf, or that one thing the guy's talking about, or whatever, if they're lit up about it, then I'm on board to have this conversation, even if I know nothing about what you're talking about. But if it's low, like frequency gossip and, oh, the war and the economy and the whatever, I'm just losing the taste for any of that crap right now. I could entertain it before. And it's funny because I'm like, well, what's going to happen to Cosmic Question Corner? We're still going to ask questions, but we're going to reframe the reason maybe why we want the information, if that makes sense. So Cosmic Question Corner is not going away just because of all this. It's just kind of, what's the word? Mutating a bit, as far as, well, what is it we can gain out of knowing this, rather than just knowing to know, if that makes sense. I have a 1-3 investigator profile on human design. So like, I want to know. I have to pick it apart and know every inner working of every conspiracy out there. The curiosity will get me every time, but that is shifting into something more stable and secure. And I'm excited for that. Yes. Yeah, I have no problem with having boundaries to conserve my energy. I don't give a F about small talk. If it doesn't hold value, I cannot hold space. I start deteriorating. I'm the same way. I just start like, I'm like a bobblehead, like, oh, get me out of this conversation. But before, I would just suffer the slog through it. And now I'm just like, oh, this was great catching up. I gotta go. Like, not like I'm lying or making excuses. I have to exit stage left. I just can't be in it anymore. I can't allow the deterioration. Like, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. In fact, orchestrator, projector. We are talking about symphony. I call it the grand orchestra getting together for playing that symphony at the same frequency from where they are stationed, so to say. I love that. That's absolutely right. And we all kind of incarnated where we incarnated, or moved to where we moved to, or kind of are where we are, especially over this kind of shift that we're coming into, by design. We're not accidentally somewhere right now, or even going into that next cycle. We are where we need to be. And if you feel the need to move between now and February of next year, or even after, follow that intuition, because then you will be where you need to be. And then you will be where you need to be. Apparently there's a reason I need to still be right here. And I'm okay with that now. Before, I was just like, get me out of here. We need to move. We need to do this and that. But the economy and the housing prices. And I'm like, no, this is where I'm supposed to be until I'm not. And then I will know it's time to go. And I know right now it's not time to go yet. So my husband says I don't live in this realm. I had to calm down, to be honest. I get accused of that all the time. Not in a mean way, but in a like, yeah, she's got her own thing going on. And it's important. Let's see what else we need to know. I could just go on, and we're an hour and 23 minutes into this, you guys. I have barely even done a reading. I've got to wrap this up. I'm just having too much fun. Ooh, look at this chunk falling into my lap. Okay. But this is going to tell a story. Let's tell a story. Okay. This is what we're leaving. This is the cross of planning, the bargains, the I scratch my back, you scratch your, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, however that saying goes. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going away, because that is not fulfilling to us anymore. It may have fulfilled, our need for survival, or our need to feel included, or it fulfilled a need probably because the matrix has taken everything good. It probably fulfilled some small need within our spirit for the time being, but that time is now over to where we can move beyond this devil energy and use, in fact, the good portion of the devil energy, which is about pure creation, overriding the matrix to tap into the pure creation below it or beneath it or kind of maintained outside of it, because the matrix can't have that beautiful creative life force, very Lilith energy that's coming to the fore right now. Very Lilith energy. And that's why you see out in the world, if you're looking, you see like the 4B movement going on. Women, especially women, are kind of hip checking the patriarchy, to be able to be in their sovereign femininity, not this submit to your husband. He's the dominant, I'm the submissive. Not that kind of femininity. This is the raw, chaotic, unrestrained life force energy of Lilith, which is the truth. Lilith represents the truth. So where Lilith, Black Moon Lilith, falls in your chart, you can go on, again, that astro-seek, whatever, sidereal. My Lilith is exactly conjunct the galactic center and exactly conjunct my Neptune, both together. The galactic center is it's like our ticket to source. It's out of here. It's in my third house of communication. So the communication I have isn't just some local matrix, whatever. It can be if I, again, deteriorate myself down there to that frequency. I can, but I have always preferred to literally speak from source, like without even trying. That's just what I do. Someone like my sister has that in the first house. So her whole life, and especially if you're in the more shadow part of Lilith, because Lilith is supposed to be hidden. The matrix wants Lilith to remain hidden wherever it is in your chart. And she's done a dang good job of just hiding, suppressing her true raw femininity by submitting to all the matrix whatevers that she's got going on, just as an example. Those bargains are over. We've ripped up those contracts. That's all over now. Must have been love, but it's over now. Sorry, just had a karaoke moment. It's over now. That false crap is over now. We're done. We're so done. Literally, the changing of the guard, the new era, the old era passing away, new era coming in hot. It's not going to be all rainbows, roses, and butterflies, but as long as you have yourself anchored in your spirit will tell you what to do, who to talk to, where to go. You will not be left churning in the ocean with no life raft. No, you are your own life raft, and your connection to spirit is the Coast Guard coming to save you, if you want to look at it that way. No more BS. Look at that. But most of us, even the masculines out there, but most of my captive audience here today are feminines. It's through our feminine energy, but not that quiet, docile, restrained feminine energy of the matrix that then uses the masculine energy to siphon all that beautiful life force to use for dominance and war and conquering, because the men can't produce that life force on their own. They need, the kings and the emperors needed that queen consort or the harem of, ladies to suck up all that energy. So you're being, not just in intimate connections, obviously that's probably the most, the biggest way most women do get siphoned in this, or how they feel they have to divert their beautiful feminine life force to their work or to their children or to their husband or to family members that are just very demanding of their energy, time, attention, labor, whatever that looks like. That's over. That's ending. This is us tuning back into, well, what is it I'm here to do? What is it I want? What brings me joy? Because that is the new currency, is what brings me joy, and you going in that direction. That's how you're going to create your abundance. The gate 55 of the Sleeping Phoenix is the gate of abundance. And life force creation, very sexy time if you want to go that road, but it's not sexy time because I need to harness and harvest your energy. It's sexy time because I'm just overflowing. My cup is overflowing and I want to share this love. And not just sexy time, but like your projects, your connections, and with your loved ones, your friends. It's overflowing, cup running over. That's what Brianna was talking about earlier. Because have new horizons. Our ships are coming in. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. All this talk of ascension and the rapture and all these other ways that, the new age or religion will slap on as your kind of moment of reckoning, your time to shine. It's here, but it's coming. It's being birthed through you yourself. You're not waiting for some external savior. It's nice if someone unplugs that background noise of that cross of planning. But even if that wasn't going to happen, Brianna would still reach her 5%. I would still be able to reach my 5% or whatever, how many more wake up. It's still, they still can't, especially with the way that these energies are building right now. They can't keep us held back much longer. And our spirit is choosing to let the foot off the brake as well, to allow us to be more seen by those who deserve to see us, not just seen by just any old buddy, because our energy, just seen by your average person, will actually start to repel them if they are not a frequency match to you. So it's almost like a natural protection for you. I wouldn't recommend walking through any bad neighborhoods at night on purpose, but energetically speaking, it's like you being able to walk through a bad neighborhood and no one's even going to see you, let alone try to steal from you or harm you in any way, because you're literally invisible to them. That's what's happening. And there's the matrix itself. I'm going to get a clarifier on this because it was kind of at the end of a long story. But this is the only thing holding us back at this point anymore, and especially as we move closer to that February of 2027 date, is our own mind and our own programming and our own subconscious. The more you can tune in, and it's not even about extracting all of this so you can get to it. It's more about just allowing spirit to come in more and embody more of your spirit that just naturally sloughs off. So you're not fighting anything. You're not trying to reprogram. You're not even trying to do anything with this. This is more of just, I'm going to embody my spirit. And as a natural byproduct of that, what's not spirit will just start to fall away, pass away, come up for release. Maybe you're crying. Maybe you're purging. Maybe it just feels like nothing. None of that is wrong, and all of it is valid. Let's get our final card. Oracle of the Seven Energies. All right. And then we're going to get into our 2 donations. Three. We have 3. We have 3. Yes. I've had so much fun just catching up with you guys. I missed you guys so much. So much. All right. What do we need to know? Just closing this little story we just told. Plus our, first 2 cards there. What do we need to know? You can't make this up. The land between, that's where we're at right now. But this is about us building those solid foundations even before this switch over from one way of being to the other happens. We're building the foundation as the stuff is not even starting to crumble yet for many of us. We're building a new foundation before it even the old one crumbles. But because it's almost like though you can occupy the same space with your new creation as the old that hasn't crumbled yet, because they're on different frequencies. So you don't have to sit there and wait for that date of February 15th, 2027 for you to pass that starting line. You can start now. And many of you have already started years ago. We've all started years ago, many of us, doing something, figuring things out, trying and failing. It's almost like we were reborn whenever your awakening was. You were reborn into the matrix with more of your, remembrance online. And as we get closer to this date, more and more and more of your remembrance is coming online. The amnesia is starting to lift. Yeah, it's almost like the clouds are starting to lift. The fog that's been there, you kind of fumbling around in the matrix dark of who you truly are. That matrix fog and darkness is starting to lift. The sun's coming out. You're able to feel the breeze on your face and hear the birds sing and smell the fresh air and feel that sun on your face. It's happening because this machine is falling apart. We're in the threat level midnight. Like we're well past the 11th hour of this matrix, but there's that 3 yet again. This is the trifecta, in religion, it's the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. In the femininity, it's the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And in this, like, returning to our original blueprint, it's the mother, the father, and the child. Or if you want to look at it as you as a complete person plus me as a complete person equals 3. Not 1 plus 1 equals 2, but 1 plus 1 equals 3. Because you as a complete person plus me as a complete person equals this beautiful thing we're creating together. That's 3. We're creating 3. So it's you not needing, it's not that we don't need other people. Let's not put it that way. But it's not needing someone else to complete you. And them not needing you to complete them. And not just in your intimate, partnered relationships. I'm talking about mother and child. I'm talking about acquaintances. I'm talking about boss and employee. It's about embodying who you know yourself to be, your authenticity, your truth, and showing up as a full person and allowing them to do the same. And if they can't do that, then you know that connection is not for you. And again, we're going to stumble and fumble and fall and make mistakes as this transition happens. So it's not like, oh, you messed up once, you're out of my life. That's not how this is. And that's not how most of you operate anyway. It's not an all or nothing, one and done kind of thing. We're all fumbling around trying to remember. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not have it all figured out right now, or even on the day of February 15th, 2027. We're all moving in that direction, and that's all that really matters. You will know what you need to know when you need to know it, as Jessa says. Yes, yes. And that is becoming very clear just in this last few weeks that I had. Because apparently I didn't need to know what I knew now then, because it would have probably only made me feel more overwhelmed or less worthy because I'm not there yet or whatever. So it's almost a gift that we don't just have everything come online all at once, because it would probably be too much, especially after all the trauma of this matrix that we've been through this whole last, however many years you've been alive in this life and however many other lives you've had here, whether it was under this incarnation cross or ones prior. But oh man, did I learn so many things about like how this place is and what our true history is. But we will save that for another live stream, because holy crap. And it's crazy because a lot of this history that I uncovered is kind of the history that was going on in my book series. So I'm just like blown away that like part of me knew, but I didn't know, but like I knew without knowing. You guys know how that is. I don't have to explain it to you. You guys get it. You get it. It's just crazy. All right. Yeah. Oh, these two fell as I was putting everything away. But yeah, as the world crumbles, you hold fast to your plans, your dreams, your eye on the prize. It doesn't mean we won't get caught up in this from time to time. I'm sure we will, because this is what we've known for however many years you've been here. These governments, these systems, these supply chains, these economies, these money systems. And when all this starts to fall apart, many of us will be prepared for it, but yet you won't know how prepared or unprepared you'll be until you're in it. But it's weird because I keep getting this download of maybe you don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but you have the knowledge and the wisdom to ride the top of the wave rather than get sucked down into it all. Like that's what my intuition keeps telling me, is like, you don't need to borrow trouble by worrying about, well, if the financial system collapses and then everybody starts attacking each other. That's just not going to be my reality. And I know that. And I'm sure you guys know that. But I've always known from an age of a young kid that I would be in an like apocalyptic situation, but not in that like go down with the ship kind of apocalypse. Or I think it's the movie is called Knowing by it's a Nicolas Cage is in it, and the world ends or whatever, and then like War of the Worlds, and I don't remember all those movies, the 2012 movie, all that. Like I knew it wasn't going to come to that, but I knew there would be a major changing of the guard in my lifetime. I was afraid it might look like, the movie 2012 or knowing or any of those others, but I know it's not going to look like that for me. Maybe for someone else, it might look that way. Who knows? I don't know. But for me, I know it's not. It's not coming to doom and gloom. I did not have to suppress who I am so long, 44 years almost, on this matrix to go out like that. I just didn't. I know that. I know that. That's not what I signed up for. I know that. I'm just getting started, you guys. I think we all are, you know? Yeah, we would go crazy if it all just happened at once. Yeah, part of my purpose was for my mother to die and bring my abilities online so strongly. We chose this, absolutely. And as much as that hurts because you feel that loss, you know it wasn't actually a loss. You planned this ahead of time. And that's the thing. You know, especially after the rude awakening from the awakening, and I was looking at my chart. I'm like, well, I guess well, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this. I'm a victim. I didn't sign up for any of this. I'm in the matrix. Oh, and it's like, no. Because the matrix, let's be honest, the matrix would not have given me that Lilith and Neptune connection to the galactic center to get the truth, to literally bypass what they are. And then there was a hidden, let's just get into this real quick. There was a hidden 13th zodiac sign called the Fucus, which is the galactic center. It's between Scorpio and Sagittarius, where my Lilith and my Neptune reside. But they've scrubbed that. I mean, it's kind of come back in recent whatever, but people aren't adopting it because they're like, that's just too weird. This is a 12 sign system, 12-month system. Well, 12 really is the number of the matrix. 13 is the divinity. And then there's a 28th nakshatra that was taken out, which was called Abhijit. I don't know, Versha may know if I'm mispronouncing that. Abhijit, something like that. Which was the 28th nakshatra. Well, guess it's still in my third house, but it's not at the galactic center. It's around 22 degrees of Vedic Sagittarius. And I think it goes into early Capricorn. Maybe it doesn't. No, because Purva Ashada. I think it's just Purva Ashada Nakshatra, which is where my South Node or my K2 is on the star Lyra / Vega. They wanted to scrub Lyra and that history from reaching Earth. Well, hello, my K2, my past life, my source code is pointing directly to Lyra. In the hidden nakshatra. It shouldn't exist. I shouldn't be here, but here I am. I snuck in. The Matrix wouldn't have given me that. They wouldn't have thrown me one bone, let alone two, let alone three, let alone four, let alone like 7 different bones that I've been thrown, spiritually speaking, in my chart. You look at my chart and you're like, oh, bless your heart. I am so sorry. I have 6th, 8th, 12th house placements everywhere. But I also have that 3rd, 9th, 7th, and 4th placements as well. But yeah, they say if you have 6th house, 8th house, 12th house placements, bless your heart. You have a hard life. And yeah, I have. But I didn't let it keep me down. And that's what the Matrix was hoping for is, okay, we'll let you have all that, but you got to get through all this first. Good luck. Well, guess what? I did it. So, Matrix. All right, you guys, my battery is at 17%. I'm going to go grab my power cord, and then we're going to get into donations. We have one from Katie, full read. We have one from Brianna, and then one card, and then one card from Jessa. And you guys know me, it's not just one card, but you know, smaller reading, whatever. We did it. Yes, we did. And we're going to continue to do it and do it. It's like that snowball rolling down the hill, but like in a good way. We're building speed and momentum and our spirit. We're bringing more of our spirit online every day that we couldn't hold the day before, the year before, the decade before. It just, if that much of our spirit came in, it would have literally had us pass away because it would have been too much for the density that we had at the time. That's why we've been doing all of this, and it feels so repetitive and cyclical, and when's it ever going to end? Well, I don't really want that to end because I want to keep sloughing off so I can embody more of my spirit. I look at it from that vantage point now, and it doesn't feel like I'm a victim anymore. That's how I've cracked the code on my victim mentality that I had for years. For years, I was a victim. Feel sorry for me, you guys. I was a victim. Up until probably 2017, I felt like a massive victim. And then I kind of felt victimized again because I got played for a fool by Archangel Michael and these other archons posing as these AI archangels. But once I vetoed that and I got to the truth of things again, I'm sure there's more truths I have yet to uncover, but like I did it. You did it. We all have done it. Like we've made it this far. And if we've made it this far, we can keep on going. There's nothing stopping us. The Matrix didn't even want us to make it out of the gate, let alone make it the third lap around already. Come on, we did it. I'm gonna go get that power cord and then we're gonna get into readings. I will be right back. And then I see Brianna has oh yeah, the vision you had about my migraines. Yeah, feel free to share. I'm gonna catch up on comments and then we'll get into everything. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back in action. Just gotta plug this in and then we're good to go. Okay. All right, we're good. Okay. And that's how it happened for Versha too, as well. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, just yesterday I was remembering as a child, I used to question the concept of Kali Yoga. Oh, Kali Yuga, going on for some 100,000 years or more. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ah, we're getting some relief, that's for sure. Is it Dwarpa yoga? Something yuga? Dwarpa yuga? Something we're going into or will be going into? Some say we already went into it, some say we're going into it now, others say it's still 150 years away. Some say it's 400 years away. I don't even know. Darsha, you may know that better than I do. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough to know what's going on with the different yugas. I know they last a long time, though. So I would have never been able to say that before. She had to be on the other side to navigate and protect me along this very dangerous yet fulfilling journey that I chose. This goes hand in hand with, and the same exact thing for my secret brother. Like if he were to have stayed, it would have just something even worse probably would have happened. Yeah, crazy. Oh yeah, the vision I had about you and the migraines. Yeah, feel free to share. I want to know. I want to know. Or you can email me if it's just too much to share. It's fine. Whatever. Whatever you want to do. Yes, I have major pain in my lower body and back. Oh, that's a thing. During the fast, it was end of day 3 because I went to Boston's band concert and I was sitting in the theater because it was in the theater at their high school theater, and I'm just like, my lower back, my hips, and my knees were just like stabbing fire pain, hurt so bad, like just as bad, probably worse than those like COVID bone aches that you got. If you got that like COVID pain, I mean, I had like that like muscle and bone pain. I don't think it's technically your bones, but like it feels like your bones are hurting. That you get like when you have a flu or something like that. I never had something like that happen until I got COVID the second time. And all my bone, especially my lower, like from my lower mid to lower back down to my hips, down to my knees, were like excruciating. This was worse during the fast, and I just was heating pad, lots of baths. Good thing my car has heated seats. Like just to get back and forth to the band concert, I felt like an 89, 90-year-old woman just heating my back up so I could get out and walk into the thing. And it was so painful. But now I feel like lighter than I felt in years, and yeah, so it was repairing something. Yeah, the whole cycle is meant to. Oh wait, let's see. Oh, hope you all have a wonderful week ahead. I'm writing this purge, emotions coming up, to let go, shadow, deep dive, and much more. Yeah, big hugs. That's really difficult, but you're gonna get through it. I know it. Yeah, Dwarpa Yuga, followed by Trita, and then the Golden Age. There it is. Yeah. Yeah, the whole cycle is meant to be 1,250 years long, I'm not sure. Okay. See that maybe I didn't even know that. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, also the moment you mentioned secret sibling, it gave me chills when I thought that considering my dad's nature, what if we have one too? I have chills writing this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I address all of this in my book before even I mean, I had known that he existed since October 15th, October 16th of 2016. That's the night I got the huge download and everything played out. And then I like I think it was either the next day or the day after I called my mom. I'm like, hear me out. I'm gonna sound crazy. And she confirmed every single thing. She knew. Of course, she didn't want to put that on us and make us, like especially the fact that maybe your father was the one that took him out with help. I learned it was a whole, you know, Epstein file thing. Like fun. That's about as much as I'm gonna say publicly on that. But yeah, absolute craziness that I learned. I didn't know the whole story until what kicked it off was I went to my D3, the Dreshkana chart of my birth chart, divisional chart. Birth. It's the third house divisional chart. So you go to the D3 in that list when you're on AstroSeek, or if you have I have Parashara's Light chart software on my computer that I haven't had hooked up since last July. So I couldn't use that. So I had to find the online way to do it. But anyway, yeah, I just going into the third house of the D3 chart, which would be the sibling that's the very next youngest to you for me. It told me his whole story and who did it and why they did it and who all was involved and how it happened. It was just but my Chiron and my vertex is kind of like a destiny point in Vedic in regular like tropical astrology they call it a vertex, and then Chiron is like the wounded healer. This is the wound you're here to heal in others, but you need to first kind of heal it in yourself. Well, those are both exactly conjunct in my 7th house at 28 degrees Aries in my chart. Well, my dad's natal sun is at 29 degrees Aries, literally within less than 1 degree of that. That alone tells me my biggest wound has to do with my father. And I also have an Aries sun, but mine is at Bharani Nakshatra at 14 degrees. So it's like 15 degrees away from his sun. But my sun, Bharani, is the death and rebirth. It's the Lilith energy. It's the yoni. It's represented by a yoni. It's the birth. It's the feminine. And then his sun, by my Chiron and my vertex, is in Kritika Nakshatra, which is about cutting and bad things, like bad things. But also, if you want to use, that's the shadow side of Kritika Nakshatra. My Mercury is also in Kritika, but in Taurus, just slightly 2 degrees into the next house, in my 8th house of secrets. And my Mercury, so your 9th house represents your father in your chart. Well, my 9th house is Gemini, which has my moon, my Bhrigubindu, which is your Vedic destiny point, and my Rahu. It's the point between Rahu and Moon. And because my Rahu and Moon are less than 3 degrees apart, my Bhrigubindu is right there between them. In my 9th house of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, so the planet that rules my father besides Sun, which universally represents your father, in my chart moves into the 8th house of secrets and bad things, occult, rituals, all these crazy things. Thank God he didn't raise me. Thank God I never had to live with him. Yeah. But just looking at your own birth chart and what each thing represents, you can do a deep dive investigative report on all the different people in your life just by looking at your D1 chart. But if you can even get further down, you don't even need their birth charts to confirm anything. But I did have my brother, funny enough, his name is Ryan, weirdly enough. Wouldn't you guess? Okay, let's just put this out there. I will get to your guys' donations, I swear. I swear we will do it. So his name was Ryan. My husband, I married a Ryan. So my dad has allegedly 3 kids, if we don't count the 4th secret one. So I married Ryan. My sister married a Ryan, and my brother married an Amber whose son's last name is what? For those in the back, Ryan. Can't escape it. And then I have Boston Ryan, my son Boston Ryan. Well, okay, so this boy disappears on the night of 10/10 of 1984. He's found the next day unalived on 11/11/1984. Well, on 10 or 11 as in November. So 11/10 he disappears, 11/11 he's found unalived. On a year to the date from the day this boy passes away, on 11/10/1985 my brother Tim is born. Those are already way too many coincidences for me to think, "Oh, maybe not." Like, no. No. Yeah. And I'll do like I'll find some pictures of him that I found online. I'll get some and I'll show you a comparison between what he's 5 months younger than me. What he looked like, what I look like at the age. He looks more like me than my actual other like full siblings, and he would only been half. So like he's red hair too. Red hair. My brother Tim has like dark brown. In the sun it has like purple and red in it, but it's dark brown. And then my sister's is very blonde. So yeah. Crazy. Anyway, yeah, we dive like I without realizing that I was literally healing my trauma from all of that in my book series. Cults and all. I didn't realize that part until this last 2 weeks. The reason I had to write about I'm talking back in 2016 when pizza and then gate was a thing, way before these Epstein things came out. Sorry, EpiPen, ep to the pep to the ep, whatever we're calling that. And my whole life I've been so obsessed with like getting to the root of not cults and what they do, but like why do they do this? Why do they like I had this like incessant need to know why. Like I was obsessed with true crime as a middle schooler. Who does that? Maybe today they would, but back in the 90s, early 90s, you didn't know many 6th graders reading true crime books with all the like bad pictures in the middle, right? But that was me trying to get to the bottom of like why do evil people do what they do? Why are people evil? Like it's been my mission in life to find out why. And then my whole book series, I can't wait for you guys to read it. Yeah. I can't wait. I just need to stop talking and get back to the readings. That's what we're here for. But yes, let's catch up on comments. So yeah, meant to let's see. Yeah, moment you mentioned the secret sibling. Yeah, I read that. Oh, this pain has not gone away. It comes and goes for hours, but it is as severe as labor pain I went through. Also, it calms down when I rest. That was kind of how mine was. It was almost like a labor pain that would kind of come and go. But that whole hour I was at the band concert, it was like a pulsing kind of pain that didn't quite go away. But then by the time I got home, I was like, oh, like I'm like this, and I'm like hemming and hawing. I wasn't crying, but I was like very whiny. My husband can attest to that. Like just whining, like I know I'm eating bad. I just need to like. And I have a high pain tolerance. So I understand Versha. It's not just this, oh, my back hurts, I'll get over it. Like it was intense, bone deep pain. I still don't know how I made it to and out of and sat through that band concert. How did I do that? I've had 2 babies and 3 miscarriages, and all of that was painful as hell. And this was up there with those labor pains. You're absolutely right. Because I was having back labor with Boston. That was so intense. Yeah, you're meant to cut those karmic ties for your lineage. Knowing and being this gifted is not a mistake. Absolutely. And no one else could do it. No one else has this investigative mind to go back in our, I wouldn't even known this kid existed until that night of my Kundalini awakening. I saw him. And then I'm like, that's the kid I've seen in my dreams my whole life. And he's kind of grown up with me in the dreams. So like when I'm 40, he's 40. When I'm 13, he's 13. And he had this kind of it was more of a strawberry blonde than mine, but he looked a lot like me. And it's so weird because up until probably my early 20s, I was obsessed with twins, like obsessed. Not like twins like themselves, but like I used to as a kid pretend I had a twin brother all the time. Um just obsessed with telling people I had a twin and all this, and I thought, "Oh, I'm bad for lying, like, I don't," but I kind of weirdly did. I mean, he was 5 months younger than me, so a lot of our placements, like my K2's 22 degrees of, Sagittarius, his is 16 degrees of Sagittarius. My Jupiter's 11 degrees Libra, his is 16 degrees Libra. Um, yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you're meant to cut those karmic ties. Absolutely. Yeah, there are 2 women who came up to my mom and professed love to my dad. One just after marrying, and the second when I was in 1st or 2nd grade. And the last one really begged my mom to let her come and stay. I'm not meaning to laugh at you, but the situation, oh my gosh, the gall to ask that. Wow. I'm sorry, Versha, that's hard. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, my dad was always and is, he's still alive, very charismatic, could get anyone to do anything. Ugh, crazy. Yeah, with us, she would serve as a mom's sister. She would be an extended family. She was truly devoted to my dad, and what she said was all in front of me and my brother. Wow. Yeah, such confirmation for my business. I'm almost there. Almost there. Yes, absolutely. It's just exciting to feel it's this is not a feeling of like, back when I would watch all these like Ascension and the Solar Flash and all these videos, I'd get super excited and then I'd get let down like, well, it's never going to happen. This is something completely other than all that new age not noise. This is a knowing deep within me, I'm sure deep within you all that are listening, that there is something fundamentally shifting about this thing we call reality right now, but in a good way, in a good way. Uh, it's like a quiet calm, but like this furry excitement that's just bubbling up at the same time. It's hard to describe. I don't even know. Words are hard, even and especially maybe for a writer like me. Words are hard because if I could just like flash download exactly how I see my scenes playing out and everything going on in my books and what I'm trying to convey are beyond words. So for me to have to try to funnel it down into words and dialogue and description almost feels like I'm cheating what it truly is, if that makes sense. Like if I could just flash download my whole series into your head for you to see it as a movie and hear all the things that need to hear, the music, the dialogue, the whatever, like I wish I could do that. Could that just be a thing? That would be great, but no, it has to funnel through my mind to try to find the right words to try to that's the hard part. But hopefully I do it justice because that's that's my goal. Do it justice. Do this story justice because it's all of our story. It's all of our story in one way or another. The themes are our story. Yeah, and no one else has my human design. That's so true. Or yours, or Versha's, or anyone else's to use the gifts that you came in with and the gifts you're attaining more and more of every day to blast them out in whatever form or media or service or healing or whatever it is that you're here to do. But let's just be honest. No matter what you're here to do, whether you're providing a service or you're writing a book or you're painting mandalas or whatever it is you're here to do in this, I hate to say new earth, but it's more like original earth blueprint that we're moving back to, is healing. It is healing. And some of the most healing times that you can look back on, at least in written history that we have access to, were people healing through using art or expressing things through art or consuming that beautiful art, whether it was music, painting, writing. This is how we alchemize as creator beings. A lot of us do it through our art. That's what we do. So that's how we heal not only ourselves through the creation of this art, but the viewer or the reader or the consumer of the art through their consuming the art. It's like food for their soul, for their spirit. It's just beautiful. I have chills again. But that's what we're here to do. You think, oh, the opposite of love is, or the opposite of war is love. I mean, not really. The opposite of war is creativity. because instead of using that life force energy to take the lives of others or to exert dominance, you're funneling that life force energy into something of beauty, of something of value, something of spirit for others to then that are probably starving for whatever it is you have to offer to consume. And not in that creepy consume kind of way like we do in the Matrix, but like it's like Amrita, like it's the nectar of your spirit. And you're consuming the nectar of your spirit when you consume art, create or services created by people who have that true spirit and are connected and are literally funneling that spirit into what they do. That's what's been grossly missing on this planet for a very long time. And when we see it, when we do get to see it, like on Stranger Things or certain books or music that just gets us, it gets us. We feel seen maybe for the first time ever. It's powerful. And even if your average person's like, oh, it ain't that deep, it's not that great of a movie, it's not that cool of a song, you feel it on a whole other level because you can sense the spirit within it. That's why. Yeah, this is one of the most powerful times to be alive. We have access to everything. We do. And the only thing holding us back, well, there's two kind of things holding us back. Our own spirit for our safety until it's time to fully come out of the closet. And the Matrix. But once that whole cross of planning is unplugged, we will have access to ways of being that we haven't since before 1615 when they had that great reset. Because just spoiler alert for one of the things that I tuned into as far as a human vessel, this may be news to you, maybe it's not. But this is not something I read somewhere. This is instant download during my clarity seeking fast. Was these archons, these evil people, were not even able to incarnate into a human body until the cross of planning, which is very recent. They were in other iterations of, I don't know, different beings or whatever, but not in human form. They were only able to embody the human form during this cross of planning. So they glitch out a lot. I don't know if you've noticed. They glitch out a lot because this is not normal for them to be in this human vessel. And as we move out of the cross of planning, you're going to see them be glitching even more because it's not their true form. I mean, technically, it's not our true form either, but we are designed as true spirit to embody something biological. They were just mostly operating in the shadows or through other types of entities, which had a really hard time being in the same frequency of the high vibe earth at the time, that they'd have to kind of operate from the shadows. And that's what they're going to have to move back to after February. They're going to have to either move back into the shadows or exit stage left. They cannot remain in a human body after that day. They just can't. And many of them are already dipping out, tapping out, glitching out, whatever, And these aren't just people that we see in the news, in the media, in the celebrities, whatever. These are people in our communities as well. It's infiltrated very far and wide. Yeah. Yes, clothing is the only artwork we are legally required to purchase. I still love that saying. That's so cool. Yeah. All right. Enough from me. I literally could just keep talking and going into it and talking. But we're going to get into Katie's question. Poor Katie asked me this over a week ago. But of course I wasn't live. And I need to check my email apparently. I am way back here. Holy cow. Yeah, when you literally go rogue and go offline and aren't online at all, I was met with hundreds and hundreds of emails when I came back. I'm like, no. Not having to be online for those days was like a godsend to me. And not the Matrix God, but source true spirit God, whatever we want to call that energy. Okay. So for Katie, hello, Amanda. I would like a message from Stacy's inner self. I had sent her flowers for her birthday and received an email back from her informing me that she is not interested, in pursuing a personal relationship with me. I'm absolutely crushed and my heart hurts so much. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Katie. Let me get you a timestamp. I was not expecting that. Okay, let's tune in. But interestingly, though, we were tuning into some big changes she was making and just trying to figure herself out. it really does feel already, I'm getting downloads about this just awakening energy. That doesn't mean she'll, feel this way forever, but for now, it's like she's trying to keep a grip on what she thought reality was or her life was, her relationship with her husband, her kids, her people, her relationship to just the world has had a fast, like, rug ripped out from under her kind of thing over this last year, and it's intensified. Let me get my timer going. Okay. So, let's find out what's going on. Her heart is broken. I'm so sorry, Katie. That's hard. So let's just see why. Let's just get to the brass tacks. I'm already picking up, of course, that it's more of a her thing than a you thing. But let's just see what the cards need to tell you about this. Okay, these two are. Wow. It's very interesting because she still looks up to you and sees you as this. I mean, this is kind of the energy that's represented you to her in these messages that we've gotten from her for a very long time now. Is like sovereign. You figured out who you are. You know what you want. She's still very much in the in between of decision, especially where her husband's concerned. There was words from her husband to her that he almost accused her of cheating on him with you. And she couldn't process all of that at once. And she kind of saw it through a lens of, is Katie like, because we know there are feelings there that aren't just friends. There's something deeper there on her end. And of course, also on your end, but on her end for sure as well. That she's just not sure how to take or process because she viewed herself as this type of person doing these types of things in this type of marriage, living this kind of life. And your energy coming in kind of acted as like a static, you kind of put a wrench in her gears in a good way. And she saw it as a good thing until her husband started having concerns and complaints about it. But this is where her sovereignty may come in and her just decide to have a clean slate just so she can have the time to figure out who the hell am I? What the hell do I want? What the hell's going on in this world right now? I mean, that alone already is so much to deal with for just some average person that doesn't know what we kind of know here on this channel about the nature of reality or lack thereof reality in this matrix. It's all very confusing for her right now, and that's the main thing. So let's just see if there's anything, just to put your mind at ease, Katie, if there's anything you did that caused her to come to this realization. Let's just put it that way. You offered her that connection and she couldn't handle it yet. That's the only thing you did. And I won't even say you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. She just couldn't, because, okay, Two of Cups definitely is a relationship card, but I always say that Ace of Cups is like self-love. This is the continuation of that self-love, how you show up with your sense of self-love in the world to others. And then secondary to that, it is a card of relationships or soulmates or, however, we want to pretty that up. But it really, what you did for her is acted as a catalyst for her to step out of the way she relates not only to others, but to her own self on a spiritual level. That cracks something open for her. She can't put herself back in the old Pandora's box of, I'm just Stacy, a mother, a wife, doing this in the world, doing that in the world. She was forced to look at herself as something other, something bigger, which is spirit. And she may be not ready for that yet. It doesn't mean she'll always never be ready for that, but just for the time being. And let's just see, as far as the future connection with Katie and Stacy in this incarnation, is there unfinished business here, potentially? Well, we have real estate, which is about wealth, investment, and mega project. This is very Four of Wands energy, new home, contracts, all this stuff. But what I'm seeing very clearly is there was a soul contract for you to come into her life to help shake her awake. Because without you ever crossing paths with her, she may not have awakened in this life. And she's still very much kind of fighting it. Even though she may consider herself kind of a spiritual person and, I've dabbled in, tarot, or I've dabbled in this, I've dabbled in that. But for her to actually face the dark truth of what this reality is and her past traumas and all of this is going to take like a Herculean feat for her to decide, there's that decision here. Decide, yes, let's look at this. Let's examine this. Let's slough this off because this is not who I am. To be able to embody more of her home on this planet, which is her body, her vessel. So you kind of pulled the plug on her just playing small as this person in this life. But let's just see, because her husband's influence has dominated pretty much every reading that we've done for her message to you. Her husband has been right smack in the middle of it. So let's just see why his energy has been such a dominant force all these times and continuing right now as well. She's mine. That's the message he's putting out. I mean, we can't get more of a clear message here than back off, she's mine. And he's planted this seed in her head that you're somehow trying to come between them. And even though Stacy has kind of almost come to this like realization that like, I don't really want this marriage anymore. I'm ready to step away. He somehow like finagled or like hooked her back in. Probably through some sort of threat, or not threat like to her life, but like threat like, well, if you leave me, you won't have any money, like threat to her like stability and security. But there is a lot of loneliness here with her in this connection, which we've known this for a long time. Just the way he talks to her, talks about her, relates to her, treats her like someone there kind of almost to serve him in a lot of ways. Maybe not overtly, but kind of more covertly. Like inside the home, kind of, everyone on the surface like, no, he's a good guy. I don't know what you're talking about, Amanda. But like, no, he's very much gaslighting her into thinking that she needs him and she's nothing without him. Like these are the kind of things he says behind closed doors to her that make her feel like, oh, I guess I need him. I better cut this thing off with Katie, even though it's kind of fun and a little flirty maybe. I can't do that because he won't let me. Rather than her taking her power back and saying, actually, I don't want this marriage. I want the friendship with Kate. Not that she has to choose. She shouldn't have to choose. But in her mind, it's like, well, it's her or him. Well, I guess I'll have to choose him because I kind of need him financially. I kind of need him for whatever else other things he's fulfilling in her. So for now, it's like she's chosen that because I just heard it's the devil she knows. Not that you're a devil, but like it's the safety and the security that she needs right now, especially as her world has been rocked with just everything going on in the world. It's already such a precarious world out there right now. And she doesn't understand the underlying mechanisms the way maybe we do here, to where she's like, I'm going to play it safe. So I better do what I need to do. But your relationship to her, your friendship to her was really, truly a gift. And if there's anything her higher self wants you to know, it's that you did nothing wrong, Katie. You did nothing wrong. You were a gift. She will cherish when she looks back and thinks of you. She will cherish that time. She won't look back and be like, thank God I got her out of my life. No, not at all. And in fact, leaving it open-ended, but I don't want to give false hope, but just leaving it open-ended. Is there any potential for Katie and Stacy to be friends again in a future time? I would just say for not right now, and maybe not try to dwell on a maybe, because again, there is this disturbance going on with the world, with her energy, with her husband. We got Nightmare on the back of the deck. She's very much in her own trauma loops right now that it would actually take away from your sovereignty in a way that you maybe feel you have to rescue her or fix her in some way, and that's not your path right now. So instead of framing this as poor Katie, Stacy's doing all these things and not facing her own truth, I want to actually frame this as a good thing that has happened for you, even if maybe you can't see it right now, because it has taken something that's taken a lot of your energy and pulled the plug on that to where you can now revert or kind of divert that energy into something more beneficial for you at this time. So, and I do see your higher self is kind of part of the orchestration of this as well, of the fact that you had such an open heart toward her lets you know you can have an open heart towards someone who can also love you back at that same capacity in the future. that was kind of, I guess, your lesson or what your gift from this was, is you'll have the good memories of her, but also knowing that your heart can open to that capacity to feel those feelings for someone, but it maybe be in a different direction rather than it be Stacy next time, if that makes sense. Big hugs, Katie. I'm sorry. That's not an easy thing to hear, that the person that you kind of, are kind of focused on is like, not interested. Please don't call me. Please don't. That's hard. I'm so sorry, Katie. But hopefully this brought you some clarity on just what's going on with all that. Big hugs. I'm so sorry. It's always hard. But I do feel once you've recouped all of this energy and attention and focus, we spend our time, we pay attention, thinking about her, you start putting that back into yourself, your daughter, your family, your dreams, your goals, maybe new love coming in eventually. It's definitely leading for you for a new beginning. Something you're really excited and passionate about. Doesn't have to necessarily be love, but something you're very passionate about. A project, just life. Maybe just reigniting that love for life, potentially. All right, let's get into our next question, which is Brianna. And I gotta close out of that one and move over, up. So many emails I gotta go through. You guys are serving as a good reminder. Check your email, Amanda. Okay, Brianna. And we have, I know what's on my horizon and I am almost there. Can I get a 1-card pull for the energy surrounding my goal, please? And let's timestamp just in case. 220. I think timestamps are always good to have. Even if you're here for it, it's nice if you wanted to go back, you could just say, oh, there's my timestamp. Cool. Okay, so let's start our timer. Not that I'm going to stick to it, but I'm going to try it. Okay. So she is on the precipice. She can see that horizon. She knows. I just saw again the Fool card, just ready to take that leap. 1 card for the energies. 1 car. I said 1 car. You're on the move. You're definitely on the move here. 1 card for the energy surrounding Brianna's goal. All right. Okay, so I actually really like to see this because you're so focused, because, we can take the good, we can take the bad. You're so focused on your goal here that there's something that the universe wants to offer you, not instead of, but in tandem with, that you don't see yet. But I see by March 14th, that date specifically popped right in. There's some sort of veil lifted or aha moment that's coming in that's going to make this that you're focused on even better, even more solid. You're even more like spirit-led, gung-ho, excited about what this is, about what your next steps are, about what to be true about all of this is clicking into place. But there's an unknown variable, a good one, that spirit is looking to offer you. This is always actually a really good card because it's always spirit that's trying to offer us something we don't see. It's never the Matrix trying to trick us when this card pops up. Sometimes this is the Matrix, but not in your case, not at all. It's just something to enhance what you already have going, kind of a facet that you've done all the investigation and the everything, but there's one facet you haven't seen yet that's going to highlight between now and that 14th date. What was I saying about cars? You're on the move. Overcoming the Matrix challenge. Again, remember what's at the root of this card is creativity, pure divine life force. In exchange, most of us have exchanged our pure divine life force for these shackles and chains of the Matrix, whether we knew it or not coming in. Most of us knew it coming in. I don't think we would have come in here into this dumpster fire unknowingly. We wouldn't have. A high advanced soul like you, Brianna, did not accidentally wander into the Matrix and get herself trapped. Abso-freaking-lutely not. You are, again, it's like you're the warden that imprisoned yourself to spy on the prisoners, to get the info, the intel, to do what you need to do. That's what this is reading like. And this is something major. Some creative life force of yours that you're pulling to be able to make a decision. Do I go this way, this way? You already know what that decision is. And of course, anytime this card comes out, this is about knowing you made the right decision. Even if after you made the decision and you're going down that path, you look over there and you're like, that would have been a better idea. Not for you, it wouldn't. Not for you, it wouldn't. You're on the right path. You're already on the right path. I want to get 2 of these and 1 of those. That's what I want to do. Okay. Anything else? We have rat. Yes, someone working against you or behind your back. Again, matrix tricksters. This could be a literal person, but I'm just seeing this overall as that cross-planning energy that's getting the boot soon. That it's almost like you're having to be the rat, lying in wait, waiting, and something about the year of the rat just popped in. And that wasn't crazy long ago, was it? Am I making that up? I don't know. Whenever the year of the rat was, most recently, not the one coming up, but the one before. Now I gotta know. When was the last year of the rat? I want to say it was 2020 because of the whole, pandemic. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. So something that you've been feeling held back or suppressed by since 2020 is coming full circle. You're closing out that cycle. 1 more of these. And then needle and thread, a sincere wish will be granted. You will be able to literally fly your plane through that eye of the needle. Direct your energy through the eye of that needle to hyper focus to make this thing happen. And then I wanted to get 1 of these animal apothecary cards as well. For Brianna, anything else? Closing statements. Face your fear. Well, having that devil card come out, this thing that's the aha may be a hidden fear that you're realizing had no power over you. Again, I'm seeing like the Wizard of Oz, they pull back the curtain. It's just some little man shouting. He has no authority. He has no power. You face that fear. And I just heard Yellow Brick Road, something about Dorothy, maybe something about the whole hero's journey of the Wizard of Oz is very relevant to you right now, or will be between now and March 14th. So just kind of, if it's not relevant now or in the past, just kind of keep your ear to the ground about anyone referring to Dorothy or the Yellow Brick Road or the Wizard of Oz or anything about that. And weirdly enough, isn't Wicked kind of a spin-off of that whole franchise, I think? So it could even be something to do with some of those actresses. I don't know, Cynthia someone. I always forget her last name. And then Ariana Grande. These could just be symbols or synchronicities coming up for you about all of that. Whether you've seen it or not, it could just somehow cross your awareness. And kind of going back to that collective reading we did about, the whole hero's journey. You had it all along. It's just maybe you forgot who you really are for a minute there, in the past. But now that you're reclaiming who you are, yeah, totally propaganda. Oh man, I have like notes on that. That's for sure. But just in general, we all know. But yeah, Wicked is the real story. There you go. Face your fear. You already have the key inside, and this is a raven. This is not a crow. This is a raven. So there may be some raven symbolism, rainbow symbolism, key symbolism, triangle symbolism, just for a couple of references there for you. All right. I hope that resonated for you, but you're definitely, there's a missing key or a missing aha moment or the missing facet that you haven't seen. You've seen everything else, it feels like, about this one small facet of what you're trying to accomplish here that will lock into place between now and March 14th. Yes. I know that was kind of random at the end there, but hopefully the message landed for you, Brianna. All right. Up next, we have Jessa, I do believe. I do declare. Yes. Itchy nose. Good luck coming in hot. Timestamp, please. Let's get it. 2/28/35. Okay. So let's get the message from Opal again. She's been trying to tell me something for days. Okay, let's tune in. It landed. Oh, yay. All right. I just saw that eye of the needle again when you said it landed, because I see you doing like this weird hairpin turn almost in the air to, instead of going, here's the eye of the needle. and you got to get your airplane. If you went this way, you'd hit it and fall or crash, but you almost had to turn it this way to go right through. And then you do all these loop-de-loops, almost like a celebration. Like, I did it. I did it. Yes, you did. All right. For Jessa, message from Opal. What's trying to come through? I just saw a fire and then I saw a dumpster, but I said, do not confuse the two. Don't put them together as a dumpster fire. Okay, duly noted. So let's go to our timer, just try to keep on track. We have the death card, and I was shuffling in reverse. So the fact that there's a cycle that's been closed, and now you're ready for the rebirth. There's no more idle wait, idle wait, idle wait. No more idling, no more waiting. You're ready. You're ready for this. This is a rebirth from the inside out. And again, Opal giving very divine feminine energy here. Let's go to the Dream Within Dreams tarot. I just got, oh no, sorry, this is Brit's Third Eye Tarot. Ooh. King of Pentacles. This is very Stephen coded, let's be honest. Something about the way that you, okay, this is all making sense now. I'm like, where are we going with this? Where is this going? Definitely about you just reclaiming your own inner masculine and just, he's not willing to pick up the mission where he should have been this whole time. You're just, okay, new plan, new sheriff in town. I'm just going to take it and run. Good luck to you over there. I'm doing my own thing. You being able to take back this masculine aspect of yourself will be that missing bit or piece or key that has been maybe blocking a bit of abundance for you the past year plus, you know? Something about all of that being resolved, or at least feeling semi-resolved, is coming full circle. And then that video you sent me is now popping into my awareness about the, you know, since that 2015 to 2017 timeline, kind of the opposition of that time is playing out now. And you can do some of your own intuitive investigative journalism to figure out what that specifically means for you, where it lands in your chart, all that stuff. You got that locked down, so we won't have to tune into that. You can do that. But let's just see what Opal's message, like, just slap us across the face with it. What is this message? Your birth card. Literally do what you came here to do. Embody your purpose. Do your birth card, you know, do your justice well. It's like Stephen wants to run and hide from his purpose. Especially where it is in him cutting off things that are no longer serving him, because he's been unwilling to release or let go what's no longer serving him. It's going to be ripped away from him, is what I'm being seen or being shown. But because you've kind of done the opposite, you've done all the, you know, the healing and the peeling and the deep diving, you're going to be able to, again, get the backload of that kind of funnel clogged reward that you've been waiting for a hot minute now. Let's go to the tea leaves. These are really good to get to the bottom of what's going on. Slap us across the face with it, Opal. What does Jessa need to know about embodying her purpose at this time? Details, please, would be great. Tulip, great passion. So, you know, that passion or that energy leak that may have been going his direction, even just subconsciously, has been patched over or is in the process. I'm seeing like a mesh, how when you patch a wall, they kind of put this like plaster mesh to kind of act, and then you paint, you know, put the plaster stuff over it, then you paint over it, and then you texture, you sand it, you texturize it. You're doing a patch job of the energy that was just being siphoned from him because he wasn't willing to do his part of the work, but he was still more than willing to take any of your energy, effort, attention, time, focus, love that would be diverted his way. But you're cutting that off, and that's going to force him to stand on his own 2 feet. But it's also going to force whatever has been held up for you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet to finally start coming through. Slap us with it, Opal. What else? What else? Whoop. I caught it in my lap. Archway, new opportunities, possibilities, and paths opening up. I love that. I love that so much. Yes. You're, again, where I'm seeing there used to be a wall is not only a window now, but a door. Where you kept coming up on a brick wall. Now, the next time you come up on that brick wall, there's going to be a doorway in it. And again, I just heard, finish what you started. So this could be something from the past coming back. Traumas that you went through in 2015 through 2017 are now being fully integrated as healed, peeled, released, relinquished, let go of, because they're not you. Closing statement from Opal to Jessa, please. Just trust. Isn't that about the hardest thing that we can be asked to do? Especially when that money's not flowing in and things aren't looking the way we hope they would. We have the 32 here, so it is a bit chaotic, but it is coming because there's a partnership of the 2 leading to a collaboration of the 3 to overcome the chaos. So I'm seeing Coven, I'm seeing your little family unit, I'm seeing Sam's energy as the 2 here, all coming together to almost act as that mesh to catch you as you fall into this next opportunity. And then on the back, nourishment while waiting. That's what you've been doing. And there's yet another 5, but it's a less complicated 5. It's just pure chaos. And this is where you've been. This is where you're going. And look, it's a mole. He's coming out to see the light, even though, you know, moles are allegedly blind or whatever, but they have no problem navigating in those dark tunnels. No problem at all. So this is about you facing the dark or the shadow, you know, deep down in your psyche or your spirit to get the gems and the jewels to bring them to the surface. And then we have a double rainbow here. It's not like the traditional double rainbow, one up and then one down. It's kind of more like boom, boom, like quantum leap, like leapfrog. So you're taking a leap here. It's not even just like, oh, I finally stepped onto dry land after being out in the crazy ocean waves for so long. It's boom and then boom, like double jump. And I just heard double Dutch jump rope. I've never done that to save my life. I tried it a few times and I'd always get all caught up in I'd be like, do I go now? Do I go now? Do I go now? I probably made it about 5 or 10 tops steps before I'd mess it up. I was not a double Dutch jump roper. Single jump rope, you sign me up as a not middle schooler, as an elementary schooler. I loved just like two girls on the, you know, whatever, holding the jump rope and then you jump in. Like I was fine with that. Or just doing my own jump rope. That was fine. But double Dutch, something malfunctioned in my brain and I couldn't do it long before I'd mess up. I don't know why. Ooh, and I just got this as I'm trying to put this one back. Ace of Wands, there's an opportunity coming in. And isn't this the story of your life lately? Opportunities are coming in, coming in, coming in. Well, where the F are they? For those in the back, where the F are they? All right, I know we're kind of closing out, but let's get one more. Clarifying life situations. This is a upside down and reverse deck or whatever. So we can take whatever. So I've been a minute since I've used this, so I'm going to really shuffle it up and just give you some advice. Some advice as from Opal as you figure this all out. Turn the page. Embrace new chapters with curiosity. Openness paves the path to wisdom. And remember, you had that new opportunity, new paths opening up. So it's almost like what I'm seeing now, obviously with this what do you call this? Imagery. That's the word. I'm seeing that you've been like on the same page for like the last year and some change. And trying to find a new avenue just on the same page. And now it's like, F all that noise. Let's turn the effing page. Better yet, let's throw this whole book out and get a whole new book. Start a whole new chapter in a whole new book. Look at that. That's what we're doing. Yes. I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I haven't even thought that far ahead. I'm just trying to get back in the rhythm of everything. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. Because yeah, it's our next Friday the 13th, Divine Feminine Day. Let's do it. I'm laughing. It's ironic. You'll have to fill me in on the details because you and I haven't been like keeping up over the last couple weeks because I've been like in my like psychic download fugue state of just not cutting everyone off, but like just being limited with my even having my phone nearby, let alone answering people back in a timely manner. And I do apologize for that, but I don't know. Spirit overtook me. It's Spirit's fault. Cocoon. Absolutely. And not one of those weird Vecna cocoons in season 5 that the kids were in. Not that. In Stranger Things, that's what I'm talking about. All right, you guys. Well, I think I'm gonna go have some lunch. I'm so like not even hungry right now. I'm so electrified just being back, hanging out with you awesome like 13 strand DNA people because 12 strand is what we're operating in. Well, technically it's 2 strand, but the body that they formed or whatever, how they dumbed us down to like a 12 strand DNA. Well, technically, if you ask me, I think we have 13 strands of DNA because 13 is that more divine, 12 is that more matrix base frequency, whatever they're trying to 12 months, 12, whatever, 12 calendar months, 12 hours on the clock, and then you do it all over again. And then the next day you do 2 of those laps all over again. 12, 12, 12, 13th floor. Let's move to the 13th floor of this DNA blueprint that we have our true divine structure located in. Let's do that. And you got to know the fact that we have even just an iota of spirit within this body, that we still have at least a tiny bit of access to that 13th strand DNA. We do. It's just a matter of us saying no to all the noise that isn't that and allowing more of that to come online so that we can heal and peel and really get down to brass tacks of our missions here. Because I don't know a lazy starseed or true spirit, whatever we want to call ourselves. I don't know someone that's lazy that is that. Lazy for the matrix, sure, but lazy for their mission, absolutely not. Muted or dulled or like we're walking through molasses in our mission, sure, because we're in this matrix acoustics of this whole vibration, right? It's like, but we're moving out of that. That noise is dilapidating very rapidly, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I think you're here for it too. All right, you guys, that's going to be it for me. Thanks again so much for all those likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, and all the things. I really, truly do hope to see each and every one of you right back here at Harmony Portal Tarot Live. We will be back live on Friday. Pretty sure we're just going to do donation-only live stream. And then next Wednesday, we'll probably do a free one-card poll. And then that Friday after that will be our Friday the 13th. $13 full reads, not one cards, full reads. We're going to do it royal up in here. Yes, we are. $13 full reads on Friday the 13th, which is not this Friday, but the one after. So be here for that if you want to get a discount on your full reading. We've raised the prices, but we're doing more discounts. Apparently that's how we're rolling around here these days. And I raised them like, oh, I jacked those things way up. Not really, not really. From $22.22 to $25.25 is not that much. Hopefully the value is still there for you guys. It's there for me. I love you guys. Thank you so much. All right, that's it. I already did my outro. So peace, and I will see you on Friday for our donation-only live stream. Bye.